Hey, welcome to Table Moments Live. Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Ayman. I'm the host of the Table Moments podcast. That's what this is. This is a podcast where we talk about anything and everything, but no politics. This week's episode, we just published a new podcast episode with Armed Atlas, where it gets a little political, but in a, I think, tasteful way. And it's kind of had to, just by the nature of the type of content he makes. He's a YouTuber who does firearms content. And so we talked about the stuff that he normally covers, but then we also talk about social media. We talk about family life, balancing it with social media. I think it's a good, wholesome conversation that spans a breadth of topics, but all cohesive, as the podcast typically is. And he's a cool dude too. So it's a good, fun conversation. Clips of those are going to be coming out. I'm literally working on that today. So you expect to see those as shorts on the YouTube channel. As far as, so that's a podcast. Obviously, this is a podcast channel, so still doing that. Some updates. I also got into e-commerce because of this podcast, selling minimalist wallets. This is my daily. And we could talk about that. Like, I think it's interesting that going through this stuff, I'm actually learning the whole e-commerce game, learning how to manage a business, especially when the margins, you kind of have to make it make sense. And then the certain type of product where you don't necessarily get repeat sales. So you have to get really good at customer acquisition. And so I'm learning all these like details of business. And I was thinking like, and I've been posting all this, like these learnings on a TikTok page specifically dedicated to Table Moments projects. I think it'd be nice to put all these videos together so people, anyone else who's trying to get into this whole like Shopify, sell your own thing type of thing can actually learn from this and not make the same mistakes, because I'm learning a lot doing this. And, you know, I started this about 3 months ago, and so far in 2 weeks, I've made more than the last month. So it's accelerating. So it's really cool, but also learning a lot of stuff in just like literally inventing in real time to figure out that sort of economic advantage that I can bring to this whole men's accessories space. And I know it's weird. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you bother selling a wallet? Well, I don't have anything else to sell. I just invent stuff for myself, and I figure, hey, you guys might want it too. And it turns out there's at least 100 other people who like it too. Crossed 100 orders this week. So it's been really cool seeing that stuff. Hasn't been a great week in terms of like the returns on this. Recently just added YouTube shopping. I don't know if that's going to work out, and I haven't been pushing any videos. And I haven't pushed any videos regarding this stuff actually, other than the ones on through Facebook ads. And the trouble is like the way the ad system works on Meta, or basically Facebook, is they let you do variations. So you can choose like between like 5 different photos, 5 different headlines, 5 different descriptions, 5 different like even call to actions and stuff. So, and then it creates all these different variations. And so for every element that you include, that's another variation they can test. And then they share it with people on Facebook using your budget that you've assigned. And then based on that and people's reception, what your click-through rate is, what the likelihood of purchase is. And then just, they call these things called pixels. Basically, it's tracking software, so they can see who clicks the ad, and then they can follow them through your website all the way through checkout. And so they can actually collect metrics on how well a certain ad is performing, because you can attribute it to a specific variation. But the problem is with the Table Moments audience, they're seeing the ad show up on their page, but maybe they're not interested in the wallet, or they've already bought one. But in an effort to support the podcast and the page, they're liking and hearting and engaging with the comments or the posts. And so it's actually giving false information, false performance information to Facebook, not realizing like these aren't just random people. These are people who know the account, the podcast. So it's like one of those weird, like, position of success that's kind of hurting. So I kind of have to like figure out a strategy for that. I appreciate everyone hitting the likes, promoting the posts or commenting on the posts, but it is causing the Meta algorithm to misjudge the effectiveness of a particular ad. So I got to work on that. But overall, it's been good. I think it's like ramping up. So I've just been like holding back to make sure I can actually scale this up over the long term. So that's the wallets update. Oh, and lastly, I'm realizing long term, the only way this can grow and be sustainable is through word of mouth. That's the only way. Ads are cool, but ads will just become more expensive over time. So you either have to introduce new products to increase your average order value. And so these are all these things I'm learning through doing this stuff that maybe I can share one day with people. So you have to either increase your average order value so that you can afford the more expensive ads as they get more and more expensive, or your content's got to be better, which, I mean, obviously there's a limit on that. And then organic even, like, I don't know, a lot of people say that's the way to go, but you have to understand, like, the platforms control organic. They also control paid. So it's organic's going to be even harder as these platforms have to figure out how to make more and more money. So this is the problem that Instagram is dealing with right now. How do you convince people to run paid ads or promote posts if organic is performing so well? And so this is where, like, the viral effect is necessary. And I've gotten a taste of that with, like, organic content, people actually sharing it with each other. And that's where you want to be. If you can pull it off. It's a hard thing to pull off, but if you can pull it off to the point where people tell other people, then your customer acquisition costs go to zero. This idea that, which I think consumers aren't familiar with, like, it actually costs businesses money to get your attention. Not even get to your attention. It costs them money to get you to make a purchase. And you pay this money to the overlords who run these ad platforms, Facebook, Google, anyone who has an ad platform. And I think if you understood that, and usually businesses price that cost into the product itself. So the product doesn't need to be that expensive. It's only that expensive because it costs money to get your eyeballs. And so it's just like, I've been thinking about this a lot. How do you create a more affordable world if this is the case? And then it turns out the players that can spend the most on ads is the one that wins. And that's generally going to be things that are higher priced compared to their competitors, similar competitors on the market. And so necessarily these advertising platforms using an auction system, by the way, because it's like a bidding system where the people who can spend the most for a certain category get most of the attention, naturally means that everything will cost more because they can afford more. They can afford to spend more on ads. So it's this weird dilemma how these ad platforms think they're offering a good service. Their rationale is this auction system for these ads are actually good for consumers because their natural conclusion is the person who can spend the most on ads has to have the best product. That's not true. That's not true. It means the person with the best marketing who can command the higher price, the most money out of a consumer with the best brand is going to have the most money to spend on ads. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. And I think this is pretty obvious when it comes to, like, foreign goods, like Japanese denim or garments and stuff like that. They don't, as far as I know, I don't see any ads for, like, stuff like that, but it's like word of mouth that grows them. So I think that's the point I got to get these wallets at, word of mouth. And it's also good for content too, by the way, if you're into making content on social media. Get to a point where the content you make compels people to share it on your behalf without you asking them. That's when you know your piece of content is really good. Until then, you're a slave to the algorithm. And so that's where I want to be. And so I'm constantly, like, trying to push myself in that direction. I'm realizing a lot of people just want to game the algos, especially on YouTube. All they want to do is, like, all right, you got to post at this time. You can't swear in the first 8 minutes, and your thumbnail's got to be on point. You got to include this, that, and then you got to make sure it's like 8 minutes long so you could get mid-roll ads and all this. I'm just like, they're really killing art, guys. They're really killing art, but it is what it is. Also, this week, posted a video about employer etiquette. I recently, actually a few months ago, I stumbled on this book, A Guide on Etiquette by Amy Vanderbilt. And specifically, there was one that caught my eye about employer etiquette. How, especially considering it's a tough job market now, employers get to choose. It's a choosy market. I'm thinking that, actually, let me write this down because I literally have a video script idea right now. Sometimes when you have an idea, you just got to write it down. Hook. And I always start with the hook, by the way. The hook is the most important thing. If you're gonna write it, if you're gonna make a video, make sure you spend like over 50%, I don't know, probably closer to 70% of your or 80% of your time on the hook. The hook's the most important thing. If it's not engaging, which is the sucky thing about content these days, because it can't act like a movie or a TV show where you can build into it because people will swipe. They have that ability to just go to the next piece of content. So that hook is a thing that keeps them in. So like employers get to be girls. I know it's confusing, but essentially I came up with this idea a while ago. I just never wrote it down. So employers get to be girls, like in the dating market where girls are the ones making the choices and guys are the ones trying to sell themselves. Essentially, this equation flips depending on how good or bad the economy is. So when the economy is really good and there are plenty of jobs, then employers become the dudes who have to sell themselves to employees. It's like, hey, this is a great place to work. We have all these perks. Here are the stock options, all that. But then when the economy flips and it's a bad economy and jobs are hard to come by, then it flips. And so then it's like employees trying to sell themselves to employers and employers get to be choosy. But it doesn't matter because in either case, whoever's in the position of power ends up exploiting the other. And so like everyone's just assholes to each other. It's crazy. And so like employers, and this is where this whole employer etiquette thing, employers have a duty to tell job applicants who aren't going to get the job that they're out of the running. And a lot of employers don't do that, even though it's sort of, I don't know, it's like ghosting people. It's ghosting people, which is crazy that a company would do that. And so like, I don't imagine employees, when they get a job offer, they don't reply. You don't ghost an employer if you find another job. You just say, you give them a formal rejection. So at least in this context, I think employers are the better actors in this situation when they have the power, but I don't know. And especially considering like you can automate a lot of these responses. It's crazy to me that employers don't actually like put that little effort into just telling people, hey, you did not get the job. And so that you can move on. And usually it takes them forever to make a decision, which is even worse. And I have a personal experience with this. I actually got a job fresh out of college, and I was awaiting responses from companies. Sometimes even companies would post job postings, you would apply, and then like a week or two later, you'd get an email saying, hey, we decided the role doesn't need to be filled. So it's like all these people are putting all this effort into like preparing their resumes, writing cover letters, and filling out the application and all that stuff just for no one to be hired. And so I think that's the world people are experiencing these days. So let's bring back some human responsibility. That's what I'm saying. Or at least that's what Amy Vanderbilt said in that book. So I think it would be a nice thing to do. Lastly, Instagram and shadow banning. That is a thing. That is a real thing. I posted the intro video for the latest podcast with Armed Atlas. I think we mentioned gun once in that intro or twice. Yeah, it does not compare to the views of all the other posts. I'm like, wow. I tagged him as a collaborator in the video, and I'm pretty sure that the association with his account, which is probably shadow banned, is now affecting that post. And I'm just like, Instagramming where it's, man. I thought Instagram was going to be better, but I think it's like YouTube now. I guess I just got to focus on YouTube. And even on that podcast episode, we were talking about how like these platforms try to censor us. They tell us what we can and can't say. You can't use these words. They'll flag certain things. They'll shadow ban other things. And we were talking about it and just like, people are too clever for that because they'll find substitutes and clever ways to say the things that you're not allowed to say. And one thing he mentioned is now people, instead of saying the R word straight up, they would say restarted, and or use GIFs to spell out racial insults and stuff. And I was just like, it's pointless because on the one hand, they're trying to ban these things, which, I mean, if I have a problem with it, I can block it. But they don't give us the option to do that. And two, the replacement words, these code words that people are coming up with are funnier, so they're easier to spread. And so I think they're kind of missing the point when it comes to human psychology. I wish I wish these platforms would just let people be. I think X might be the place. X might be the place. They might be the freest. I know a lot of people don't like it since Elon has taken over that. But I mean, the fact that they allow pretty much anything, as long as it's legal, yeah, it's all good. Kind of respect that. And somehow, like, I don't see any adult content on my X page. I'm just going to call it Twitter. I don't see any adult content on my Twitter feed. So clearly they figured out a way to like separate things appropriate versus inappropriate, or at least based on whatever your filters are. So it's like the social platforms can do it too. Not that I'm condoning adult content on these platforms, but I'm just, it's like clearly a platform has figured out how to separate these things. So maybe these other platforms can figure it out too. And then also an idea I've been thinking about lately is automation. You know, with ChatGPT, everyone's talking about like, oh, you know, it's going to get rid of jobs. It's going to get rid of jobs, and what are we going to do? And people aren't needed anymore. I think this is the perspective of software engineers, where they don't really have a strong relationship with the real world. Everything they know is just a bunch of ones and zeros and like bits on memory or whatever. They don't realize, or they can't appreciate the difficulties of the real world, the physical world, the issues that come with just trying to manipulate the world in a direction, creating things, manufacturing things, producing things. And if they did, they would understand that, yeah, maybe you can automate BS administrative tasks in corporations that never needed to be filled by a person in the first place. Sure. Plenty of those jobs are going to be gone, which is going to be suck for a lot of these white collar workers. But in reality, the future is not about replacing people with machines. I think the play and the smarter play would be enhancing people. I know some people talk about this, the actually making people more capable. But you still kind of have to know the stuff. ChatGPT is not going to be a replacement for someone who understands the code. You have to know the code because you have to be able to fix it. And things never work smoothly when you're writing software or building anything in the real world. Like I'm dealing it with these impulse dealers, like making these wallets here. I'm engineering solutions literally in real time. Just took apart an impulse dealer to figure out how it works so I can rejigger it so I can make these more efficiently and faster. I'm literally building a machine, or at least designing a machine in real time. A computer can't do that. Like, that's the funny thing. It's just like everyone's so ready to say a human jobs are going to be replaced. It's like, no. And the one thing I think people completely underestimate, and it's probably a foolish idea, is that you can replace a person. Like these self-driving car companies also have the same issue. It's those edge cases, those 0.0001% of cases where a car is going to encounter a situation that it's not going to be able to handle. Those are the things it has to get right. And this is where people are suited for. And so it's not, I actually came up with, it's orders of magnitude easier to multiply a person's output than it is to replace a person. Like it's a lot easier to turn a person to make a person have the equivalent output of 1,000 people than it is to entirely replace one person. And so I think this is the mistake a lot of these tech bros are making. And I think this is an opportunity. This is why this is why I don't feel too bad about like, you know, jobs being replaced or like tech and taking over the world or whatever. It's just like they're uninspired and they don't understand the fundamentals of constraints in the real world. And so I'm kind of hopeful about it. I think this gives us an opportunity to like find those gaps, those holes, those axioms that they completely get wrong. And so that's where people like us can just fill that in with innovations. And so I don't know. People are afraid of ChatGPT. I'm not. I'm not. And usually when something is like hella hyped, everyone's talking about it, and everyone's worried about it, it's usually a sign that it's something not to worry about. The thing to worry about is the thing that no one's paying attention to. That's the thing to worry about. So and this is where the whole idea in Nassim Taleb's Black Swan events come. It's called a Black Swan, not because you could predict it. It's called the black swan because it's completely unpredictable. You didn't know. And so this is where his idea of anti-fragile, making yourself actually strengthen in times of volatility and change versus just being robust. So there's like 3 categories: fragile, robust, and anti-fragile. And so fragile is obviously it breaks easily if things are very delicate, and then they will collapse if things deviate out of the norm, which is typically the case when it comes to nature. Eventually, inevitably, things will deviate from the norm. And then things that are very sort of like predictive end up failing eventually. Now they can work in the short term, and that's how you get like the housing boom cycle of 2008, and then the housing crash. It's because things work until they don't. And then the second category is robust, where it's resilient. It can withstand changes and rapid changes, but it doesn't actually improve. Things that improve because of volatility, that's anti-fragile. It's the opposite of fragile. And that's sort of where I think I want to live. And so even like when I'm designing this stuff, the wallets and the manufacturing process, I'm thinking about micro factories where I can scale up and scale down based on demand. Like right now, I have no inventory of wallets. I literally, an order comes in from Shopify and then I go make it. And so I figured out it takes me 10 minutes to make one. And the goal is over the next few months to turn that 10 minutes of manufacturing to 1 minute. And if I can get there, then it's just a matter of like, and I can also this has to be true, I have to make the ad spend make sense. Right now I get a ROAS, this has been a bad week, it was like 1.6 return on ad spend. But if I can get that to 2.5, preferably 3, then I could just print money basically. Just run ads, get sales, manufacture 1 a minute. If I can get 30, if I do 30 orders a day, that replaces my old salary. If I do 50 orders a day, I'm making stupid amounts of money. But I have to get there. And this is just like the small incremental changes I got to make to improve the process. But I'm constantly like figuring, this is the stuff I love. This is the stuff I love, like manufacturing. And if in another life, my first job would have been like in some sort of manufacturing plant. And I was thinking about this the other day, like when people ask me what I wanted to be when I grow up, when I was a kid, I would tell them engineer because that was the thing that made the most sense. But really, really what I wanted to be was an inventor. And I think I'm kind of living it right now, so it's kind of cool. I wanted to be an inventor. But I mean, people don't know what that means when you say that. It's like, what do you mean invent? I'm like, I don't know. I see problems and I want to fix them. So I go fix them. I figure out a way to build something and I go fix it. So even like with these wallets, first of all, making these wallets and inventing a new way to like actually fuse the edges. I actually attended, let me see if it can zoom it in. Cool, you see? It's not sewn, it's fused. You can see that. And so I actually use an impulse sealer to do that. And I was actually showing this off at like a sort of entrepreneurship meeting this week. And I was surprised. A lot of people were impressed by it. I was like, wow, this feels nice. I'm like, yeah. They're like, how'd you get that? How'd you get the vinyl on there? It feels like, I was just like, I just laser cut those and put it on so I can get cool stuff like that. So it's like, ooh, let's see. Can I catch? Okay. Let's see. There you go. You see? Very clean. This is just like a mock logo of the Red Bull logo. And then I got the Table Moments logo on there too. And this is laser cut, weirdly enough. But it looks so clean. And so it's just like, I'm figuring out all these new and interesting ways to make stuff that people haven't even considered before. So I think it's pretty cool. It's not a good business to get into, by the way. These like one-off products, because you have to get really good at acquiring a customer. Because people don't generally do repeat buys. Fortunately, because of the price point of this at $20, and because it comes in 5 different colorways, people have actually made multiple orders. So about 5% of customers end up buying more than one. So it's pretty cool. And here's the funny thing about men's accessories, especially wallets. Men don't buy wallets. Men are gifted wallets. So weirdly enough, I'm actually pulling off something interesting here where men are actually buying something that they normally don't buy. And I think it's pretty cool. So yeah. But that's the wallet update. That's what's going on in my mind, things that have been happening this week. And we will add the TikTok guys now. For those of you who don't know, I also live stream on TikTok. I give you guys an extra 25 minutes, so you're welcome. I think I gotta, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll just formalize this and like I want to get as good as Kevin Samuels was. Not the relationships. I don't care to do relationship content, but the guy knew how to host a live stream for sure. Man, he will be missed. Just for because that's the thing. I don't see anyone else putting the same amount of effort that guy did when it comes to these live streams. He would prepare a whole like monologue. I guess this has been my monologue for 25 minutes, but I haven't actually like, you know what? Maybe I should just like write a whole script because I feel like that's what he had to have done. Or at least put bullet points and then go through this narrative arc of this. I kind of like the idea of that. Hey, For Queen Being, nice to see you here again. Pure Strength, hey. So yeah, it'd be cool to get as good as Kevin Samuels. I want to get as good as him when it comes to like live streaming. I'm speaking to the TikTok guys. He was so good at it. He's so good at it. Especially, I remember one stream where he was talking about like, he was comparing women to the Avengers. And I was just like, wow, that narrative, the way he organized the whole thing is perfection. And then now we get people like, what's her name? The white chick. I'm just like, man, the red pill space hella cooked right now. And they're hella cooked. But whatever. Hey, Fortnite Pro, what's up? First, appreciate it. Good to see you too, For Queen Being. How's everyone? How are you guys doing? I got some topics prepared, but we can open up to Ask Me Anything first. How are you doing though, Fortnite? I've been thinking a lot about, I invited, or I had a conversation with Armed Atlas this week, and we were talking about the Second Amendment and stuff like that, because that's just the kind of content he makes. And I was thinking like, and I am not trying to make this political, okay, guys? So don't get all salty in the comments, like whatever. I was just thinking, if you were pro-Ukraine and pro-Palestine, and you're like the right to resist and everything, how do you think people will resist? What do you think they will use to resist? And it's just like, but typically you notice that people who are pro-Ukraine, pro-Palestine are also lean left on the political aisle and probably don't really like the Second Amendment. So it's just like, it's very incongruent, but whatever. Yeah. It's like, what are you going to fight with, sporks or something? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Whatever. Hey, Messi. You can't be Messi the GOAT. No, it can't be. No, it's a different Messi. People really like Messi, huh? I don't know. How does everyone feel after now he's playing for Miami? I mean, I think I'm done with sports. I think I'm completely done with it. I used to watch Formula One a lot, especially last year. I was watching a lot of it. And I guess they're racing back in China again, but I didn't watch the race. Like, I don't care anymore. Hey, Curry, nice to see you. Janet, T-Money, what's up? How's it going? How's the educational system treating you? Ready for summer break? Are you ready for summer break? Yeah. I don't know. You know what? I've been seeing a lot of TikTok videos about, I guess the NPC thing is dead, which I thought it would have lasted a little longer. Definitely ready for summer. Yeah. I don't know. It's getting warm here in Texas and kind of want to, I don't know if I could, I'm probably going to just spend all my time indoors if it's going to be this humid. It's weird. Texas weather's weird. Like the last few days it was hella humid and now it's like cold. So I'm definitely going to go for a long walk after this because I really enjoy the cold weather. I'm also realizing I might have a sensitivity to light. I don't know what that means. Because anyone else think the sun is way too bright? It's way too bright. I'm just like, ugh. I guess that's what sunglasses are for. When it gets warmer, the kids get crazier. Why is that? Is that true? Or are they just, I don't know about that. I guess, yeah. I mean, if it's cold and dark. People are low energy. Have you guys heard of these like special light bulbs that they make that simulate sunlight? At least the spectrum of light that the sun shines, so it can make it feel like you get daylight even when you're indoors. And this is great for climates. I don't know if it actually works. I don't know what the scientific basis is behind it, but in places where the climate, or like very northern latitudes in the winter where it can get dark for for a really long period of time, those could be really useful. So I think that's interesting. Live right now. Yep. But I don't know. This is the summer. Yeah. I don't know. I've heard of them, but there's nothing like the real thing. Facts. I don't know. I prefer like the sunset or like evening. I actually really enjoy the nighttime though. Like I'll go for, like yesterday I went for a long walk like at 1 a.m. or something. I don't know. I guess I'm just a night owl, which is why I do these lives typically much later than I am right now. But man, it's like, and here's the cool thing. You know what? I kind of miss the pandemic. Not for the reason you think though. It's like, it's awful. A lot of people got hurt by it. A lot of people suffered from it. But the thing I really miss about the pandemic is how quiet the world was. It was so quiet. No one was out. You didn't have to deal with crowds. There were no lines anywhere. There was no traffic anywhere. It was a beautiful thing. Safety is not a concern. Walking at 1 a.m. No. Guys don't have to worry. I mean, I'm not walking through Houston or something, or like O Block in Chicago. Like, it's like most places are safe for dudes. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing it as a woman, walking late at night. That's not, no. Because, I don't know, I feel like women are more vulnerable, at least in terms of a safety aspect thing. But no one's ever tried me on anything. And plus I live right next to, or I walk around a community college and there's always cops there. So not that I even have to worry about that. Sometimes I've heard gunshots at night, but male privilege, it is absolutely male privilege, but nothing that we're controlling. Well, I guess the bad guys out here, which is typically dudes. Dreaming memes. What's up, man? What's up? It is male privilege. And it's a privilege I enjoy. I really enjoy. Like, it sucks to have to like, I don't know. Here's the thing. Some women don't care. So they're really out here like that. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, but it doesn't seem very prudent or smart to me if you're just going to be walking at 1 a.m. as a woman. Or at least if you are, concealed carry maybe. I don't know. Just stay safe. Here's the thing. If you're interested in being able to be free at night and walking by yourself as a woman, consider watching the latest episode of this podcast. I talk with Armed Atlas. We talk about self-defense and your rights and how to stay protected, carrying medical on you. You're scared of guns? Are you? Have you ever been to the gun range though? And you know what? I'm going to use a different word instead of the GUN, because I don't know how TikTok feels. I know Instagram's hella sensitive when it comes to that word. And I saw them shadow banning. You've never been? Oh, you gotta go. You gotta go. Like, if you don't like dealing with PTSD, unfortunately, you mean in the related to firearms or just generally? I think it's worth going at least once before you make any judgments about these. To me, they're just machines. So it's like, yeah, you got to stay safe. You got to know how to handle them. You got to follow rules and stuff. And it turns out everyone who's really into this stuff, pew pew. Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. I'm going to start saying pew pew. So these pew pews, you gotta be safe about it. And it turns out everyone who's like really passionate about this stuff is incredibly safe and well trained. It's not like the movies either. Okay. So there's a lot. Yes, been shot at, had a bullet fly close to my head at a bowling alley. Eesh, that's crazy. It was just an altercation happening at a bowling alley and people were shooting at each other. That's crazy. I don't know, because like I live in Texas and I'm pretty sure most people or at least a lot of people either own them or some of them even carry it on their person, which is why you don't pick fights with people in Texas. Because do you want to lose your life? Like, That's a good question, Curry. Yeah, which state was this? Delaware. Ah, I think that might be the problem. You know, that might be the problem. I don't know much about Delaware other than Joe Biden. And this is not a political podcast, and I'm not trying to get political, but like, I don't know. Delaware. Hunter Biden's my spirit animal, though. Everyone in Texas has pew pews just like Louisiana. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. Like, that's the one thing I do appreciate about Texas is like people do live life more freely here. It's like no one's gonna tell you nothing here. Like, I've never been hassled by the police here, ever. But I'm not sure if that's like a common occurrence. Maybe the glasses help. And usually when I'm walking at 1 a.m., which I'm walking past police cruisers all the time, because like there's a police station here too. So I guess I have that safety aspect as well. But like I'm carrying like a Gatorade bottle usually. So, yo, fellas, if you're a black guy and you want to be out late at night, just carry some sort of drinking bottle. You're going to come off as like a lot less threatening because I'm pretty sure thugs don't carry hydration with them. uh, John, LOL, bro. NOLA has major police shortage. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a natural consequence of like the BLM stuff. I don't know if did people not see this coming? Like naturally. Here's the thing. I recently listened to this episode on the Logan Bartlett podcast. There's a tech company that podcast. Let me plug it real quick. There's a tech company that's actually working on license plate detection and stuff without like they don't do facial recognition, but essentially they're reducing crime and they're increasing the capacity of a police force by being able to track perpetrators when crimes happen, especially in the context of car thefts. And so their police departments might not need to staff up if they can use technology that helps them scale their current force. And so this is episode 99 of the Logan Bartlett Show. Flock Safety is the company that Flock Safety. And so they use technology, cameras, and automation, and I think artificial intelligence. Eliminate crime in your community. To solve and eliminate crime, you need evidence. Protect your community, business, or school 24/7 with coverage that never sleeps. And empower your law enforcement agency to solve crimes faster with Flock City-wide safety platform. I was listening to the podcast. I'm like, yo, it's kind of crazy, like how well technology works these days. Hey, how's it going? How's it going, man? Like a cool hair, thanks. I just saw a man that looks like you, but older. Really? I feel like I'm pretty old though. People are calling me Unk in the comments, which is a weird thing. Like, fellas, at some point, if you make content online, people are gonna start calling you Unk. It's a sign of respect though, so I'm rolling with it. Gotcha. Yeah. So, you aren't old, LOL. 34 is kind of old, right? I got a gray hair somewhere here. You see that? It's a gray hair. You can't see it on the YouTube and Twitch, but I got a gray hair. No, you look 20. No, I don't look 25. Shut up. How do I look 25? Does this look like 25? No, I'm not 25. Yo, that's the craziest comment I've heard in a while. You look happy with life? That's a good observation. I struggle sometimes. I'm constantly like in this like zone of like, because when you're working on your own thing, it's like there are times when you're up and then there's times where you're down. And so it's just like, this is the struggle of like being in control of your own life because you have full responsibility of it. So, and here's the thing, like I just came across essentially like sometimes things go right, sometimes things don't go that well. And the times when things go right only last for like 15 minutes. And so like what I've been seeking is a sense of peace, which is I think sort of what I have. And then also now moving in the direction of righteousness. You look young. Okay. Black don't crack, I guess. I'm 35 with a lot of grays. I think gray hairs are cool though. I don't know. No, you do look 25 and good. Thanks. I can't wait till I get a bunch of gray hairs in here. Right now I only have like one here. I think I have like one on the right there, maybe one on this side. but I want a ton of gray hairs. And then you know what I was gonna do? Because one of my family friends, uncles or whatever, he has a bunch of gray hairs. He actually has hair on his head, and he puts henna. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's like this plant that's turned into a paste, and then it has this stuff called lawson. It's a compound that can activate keratin in your skin, and so that's how you get the reddish color on the skin. If you ever seen like the ethnic women put like henna on their hands, it's super red. It also works on hair too, and so I kind of want to do that with my beard and just like have red hairs instead of like white hairs. That'd be really dope. That would be really dope. Just messing around with henna, or henna, as people say. You look young and attractive. Oh, thanks. Yeah. So that might also be a project idea, because I've been thinking I might have to learn organic chemistry. I'm a mechanical engineer by training, so I'm a engineer type. But I think I have to learn organic chemistry because I have all these like project ideas that involve chemistry, and I don't, it's not my background. I only took one chemistry course in college. That was the only requirement. Here's the thing about chemistry, though. It's like it's one of those STEM subjects that are, it's not as concrete as you wish it could be. Because yes, there's certain things that are true, and they're always true, but then there are exceptions. There's a ton of exceptions with everything. So it's kind of like you got to memorize so much stuff, and I hate memorization. So I did it in high school. Organic chemistry is easy. That's good to hear. That's very good to hear. Yeah, I remember taking AP chemistry in high school, and oh man, I had this funny story with that. Like we were like taking our final, and it was completely lost. Like I had no idea how to solve the problem, and it was a lab portion and a test portion, and I was partnered with this guy who didn't know any of this stuff, so it was just like it had to be me. And at some point, the guy I was partnered with was like, yeah, he could see I was struggling with it. Like I couldn't figure out how to solve this lab portion. Like how do we calculate this whatever and make this solution or whatever. And then he tries to bribe the people in the next bench. Like, yo, what do we do? He tried to bribe him in front of the teacher. It blows my mind. He's like, he comes from a Middle Eastern background where I guess they have money and that's how things work. But I was just like, this guy really tried to bribe someone for some answers on a lab. Eventually, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I have these like moments of brilliance. I'm like Action Man. Do you guys remember the cartoon where that guy who's like an action star or whatever, but then he has this weird brain where he can just like get into this mode where he can do like intense calculations to figure out his way out of obstacles or situations? I have those moments sometimes, especially in academia. It happened to me all the time where I'm just like lost in the middle of a final. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know how to solve anything. And then all of a sudden, just like I go into like hyperdrive or whatever, and then I'm just like solving the whole thing. By the end of the test, I'm like, I have no clue where that brilliance came from, but thank God. It's crazy. I did it in high school. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't shatter its skull with a large rock. I'm not sure what that means, Zeke. I did henna to my hair in high school. LOL. My bad. Oh, okay, meant. You 25? I'm not 25. Took chem in college. Okay. Look who we have here. Faith. It's been a minute, Faith. It's been a really long time. What's happened to you? You still on vacation? Or yeah, what's the deal? What happened? Everything okay? Yeah, since the last time I saw you, I'm pretty big time on YouTube right now. No, you just moved. Okay, where'd you move to? Please tell me a southern state. You got to get out of the north. Big time. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I got into e-commerce too. And so I sell my own products now. It's crazy. Like getting into software, Shopify, all that stuff. A lot of things have happened. It's crazy. Doing video podcasts now. So like now it's a whole like series on YouTube. No, just a bigger home. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Money. What about money, Dom Studio? I have money right here. What do you want to know? And you got married? No, still engaged. I've been thinking about going up north. You know what's the funny thing? My girl, we've been talking about it. She likes Chicago a lot. And here's the thing: I'm not even mad about that. Like Chicago is nice as a city, except the winter. The winter is pretty awful. So my solution is like, all right, we will live probably in Chicago if circumstances lead us there. And then for like 3 months of the year, we take a vacation somewhere south. I think that's the only way to do it. Chicago is cold, great food though. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think that's the only way to make Chicago work. Bro, Rich? No, I give these away. I give these away. I don't normally just carry cash on me, bro. I sell stuff. I sell minimalist wallets and I include a $2 bill. Like, you guys probably came from the $2 bill video. The reason why I had the $2 bill, one, I thought it was interesting, and two, I actually give them away to people who buy products from me. So I'll just flash it once. Yeah, I know. It looks fake, but it's real. It looks fake, but it's real. And it looks far more impressive than it actually is. But yeah, great food. Yeah, it is great food. Chicago is nice. Chicago's a great walkable city, not gonna lie. I really enjoyed I've spent some time there over the last like year. It's a very nice city, except there are definitely some drawbacks, but it's fine. I think you can make do with the situation or whatever. But yeah, bro, Rich though. How do you guys feel about TikTok possibly being banned? Where are you guys going to go if TikTok no longer exists? Which isn't going to be the case. They're probably just going to have some like someone in the US control it. But where are you guys going to go if TikTok leaves? Where are you guys going to go? A lot of people are like really struggling because they're just like, oh man, I put all my eggs in this basket. It won't happen. I don't know. I would love to see it happen just as a sort of like shot across the bow to all these other social platforms. Just like, hey, this can happen. It's just because you're big and a lot of people like you doesn't mean you can't get got. Okay. And TikTok, I just want to see it happen. So Zucks will buy it. Oh man, that would be awful. Like, all right. Can they afford it though? That's the thing. How much cash on hand does Facebook have? Meta cash on hand. 65 billion. All right. What's the market cap of TikTok? Market cap. 200 billion? Psh, where are they going to get the money from? I guess they can borrow it, but whatever. It would be horrible. Yeah. I mean, consolidation is always it always turns out to be a bad thing for consumers, which is why this whole idea, like the big banks and not letting them fail, is the reason why we're in this trouble with everything now. Chicago has deep dish pizza. I do like Pequot's. I had the one from the Bear. It's actually pretty good. Or maybe I enjoy it more because I really enjoyed that episode. Season 2, episode 7 of the Bear. Great storytelling. And I kind of empathize with this whole like customer service and like going above and beyond for the people you serve. And that's the approach I've been taking with like these wallet sales, like including a $2 bill. Eventually I want to be able to customize the packaging too and customize the wallet as well. And then also like adding tracking information, covering shipping, also covering taxes. So it's like super seamless. And then also customer service when people have any issues with this stuff. Gen Alpha going to get mad without Skibidi toilet when they remove TikTok. I have no idea what you just said, but okay. It would be horrible. Yeah, but Hard Rock Nick is one of the richest men in the world. Why don't we use $2 bills anymore? I don't know. I mean, they're not even hard to get. Your bank might have it. I lucked out. Like the bank next to me has them, and they have a ton of them. Literally, I went like late last week. I asked them, "Could I get some $2 bills?" They're like, we have 50 on hand, but we're gonna get a shipment next week or in a few days if you're willing to wait. I was just like, yeah, totally. And then I was like, could I get 120 $2 bills? Because I started off with just 15 $2 bills. I sold 15 wallets. And so I gave them away with the wallets. Then I doubled to 30, then 60, and now 120. And it would be cool if I could keep going. I don't know how sustainable this is because like, I don't know. Maybe I'll get to a point where I actually give away a stack of $2 bills every day because I get enough orders to justify it. But I just think it's one of those cool things. Like it's a cool novelty item, and it's here's the thing: the rationale behind giving away a $2 bill is one, it has a higher perceived value than $2. So $2 probably feels like a $10 bill, maybe even closer to a $20 bill for some people. So it does feel like you got a great deal when you buy the wallet. So I give you that feeling. And because I give you that feeling, I'm hoping you tell a friend. And so it's marketing. This is marketing spend. That's how I see it. And I budget it. So based on the pricing of the product, it all works out. $2 bills are expensive? No, they're not. They cost $2. Literally. Like I gave them, this cost $200 because it's $102 bills. Like, it's still money, guys. It's like it doesn't. Now here's the thing. The interesting thing is, just to clarify, this here, the uncut sheet, this costs $64. So it's like 4 times the price. But yeah. But regular $2 bills are just $2. Quick trip in, gotta go to bed. All right, good night, Faith. The $2 bill is really neat. I love the idea. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I can't play the game the same way everyone else does. And plus, like, the $2 bill video that I made, that I posted on 3 platforms. I posted it on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. It's, I think, over 9 million views on TikTok, over 1.4 million views on Instagram, and I think over or just past 9 million on YouTube. And it's, man, if I timed this better, I could have put an ad directly on there and explain like I give these away with wallets, and that's an easy way to generate demand, but whatever. It is what it is. But I think it's cool. I've never gotten a stack like this before, so it's kind of cool. You do feel like you want to drop it on a stripper, maybe. Not gonna lie, it feels weird, and so I'm kind of like Mr. Beast, honestly, if you think about it. So, yeah, wallet, and I think the best part about it is I can actually honestly say my wallet that I sell is the only one on the market that comes pre-installed with money. So, yeah, it's unique, different, and I can do interesting stuff like this. And I think it's pretty cool. I love the engineering part of it all. So yeah. Yeah. And largely I've been getting sales through Facebook ads, weirdly enough. I haven't even monetized the audience directly yet. That's the funny thing. Like, I'll post a video every like few weeks or so, just talking about it, like what I'm working on while making this stuff, but I haven't actually put any effort into pushing it to the Table Moments audience, because I kind of want this to be sustainable, which means I got to figure out how to sell this to people who aren't familiar with me, which means I got to get good at like ads. I got to get good at persuasion, marketing, copy, website design, and marketing and all that stuff. So it's just like I get to learn all this stuff, and then also like build the efficiencies of like production, but then also the software and management of all these orders that come in. So it is what it is. Yo, what's up, guys? What's up, man? Elite cameraman, what's up? You guys got anything on your minds? I could just keep going if you guys want, but is there anything? TikTok ban, possibly, maybe not. Who knows? I honestly don't care at this point, because I don't appreciate how they lied to everybody. They lied to everyone about like, here's how you can get videos to go viral. Here's how we're going to reward them. Here's the monetization program. And then it turns out they make all these changes in the back end, not telling anyone anything. And I mean, like, these other social platforms aren't much better, but like, I don't know. I don't think it's right for people to be defending a social platform and its right to existence. It's just like, screw these platforms. They screwed everyone. They screw everyone all the time. There's actually this idea, Cory Doctorow, he's a tech journalist or something, I believe, where he talks about the trajectory of these social platforms. They always start off like super viral and very, very good, serving the customer, which is you, and the content creators, which is also the customer, the people who actually, the users essentially, and giving them a platform that works really, really well, allowing people to connect with each other, get views, build an audience, and give you a lot of freedom and ability to connect with each other. And then And they do this at a loss. So they're actually losing money while doing this because they haven't figured out the monetization part yet. And so it's great. Everyone loves it. And that's how TikTok started off. That's how Facebook, that's how YouTube started off. It's all just like super good. And then you wonder why it gets worse. It's because then they have to figure out how to monetize. There's this thing called like consumer value, I think it's called in the economic term, or consumer surplus. Let's see, consumer surplus happens when the price consumers pay for a product or service is less than the price they're willing to pay. In this case, the consumer surplus, the price that people are willing to pay is free. It's zero. But people get so much value out of this stuff initially. And that's how they attract all these users. And the idea is like, once you get network effects, a lot of people being there increases the value of the network and makes it more sticky. And so like the fact that all your friends, all the people that you follow, all the content you enjoy is all on one platform makes it more valuable to you as a user. And so they purposely lose money to get to that point and also make the platform work really well for creators and users, and then build this thing, this network effect. And then finally, when they get that, they got everyone tight in their grip, then they're like, all right, how do we extract value out of this? And so then they come up with the ad model is typically what they go for. TikTok has taken a different approach too by adding the shop stuff. So now they're trying to like do the whole monetization thing directly with consumer products and stuff, which is why everything has gotten worse. That's why you see ads pretty much every other video. That's why you see like a lot of the creators are just selling out basically, shilling stuff because that's how they make money. And the platform pushes this stuff too because it's how they make money too. And then a natural consequence of that is the platform gets worse. And this is literally coined by Cory Doctorow as inshittification. Things become shittier over time because the incentives change. And it's just like this, it's a shitty cycle, man. It's a shitty cycle. And so it's just like, then people pivot. Here's the thing. If Instagram was working well for people, if YouTube was working well for people, TikTok would not have had a chance. It would not have had a chance. It's like, I don't know. It just sucks that we go through these cycles all the time. And I've been thinking about like, how do we solve this? You could put all this effort building an audience on a platform and then all of a sudden they're gone. You don't have a connection with people anymore. And so it's just like, I don't know. It's just, none of it seems right to me. But I'm speaking from this side of the camera. On your side, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the TikTok algorithm has not been good lately. It's probably because they're about to get banned. All right. All right. All right. That's enough ranting, though. I feel like I can rant about anything. I have some ideas, and that's the thing. I always write these scripts of videos. Yeah, that's the crazy thing about this like content stuff. Sometimes I am motivated to like record a video and other times I'm not. So like I have a lot of good hooks for ideas that would be very spicy for a lot of people. So like, and I constantly like work on these hooks. Like another hook that I've been thinking about was, ever wonder why your favorite movies are your favorite movies? And the conclusion of this script was going to be like, we should all be like white teenage boys. And it's like a weird connection. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately when it comes to like storytelling. How long does it take to get customers on a drop shipping business? Because Shopify, and I can start one under $30 because I found a product and it costs like $15 and $1 for Shopify. It doesn't take long to get a customer. What does take long is to get profitability. Cause like there's a testing period. So if you're thinking about running ads, if you're going to do drop shipping, usually the method is Facebook ads. There's a sort of testing period where the ad tries to find the right audience, unless you already know the type of audience you can like select for it. But, finding a product that costs like $15 and $1 for Shopify, you want to sell it for 30. I don't know if that's even a good ratio, dude. You should, if you're going to sell something for $30, it should probably cost you like no more than $10 for the product costs. Cause like you have to factor in the cost of customer acquisition. Can I start one under 18 years old? I don't know. I don't know if there's any age restrictions. Shopify, I don't know if Shopify has any age restrictions, but you're going to have to put a name, address, and stuff like that. So identification might be a problem. But like the ratio's got to be better because it seems like there's plenty of margin selling for something for 15 and then getting something for 15 and then selling it for 30. However, the ads are going to be expensive and usually 30 is a better price point than 20, which is what I sell stuff at. But you don't know how much it's going to cost you to get a customer. If you know it's going to only cost you like $5 to get a customer when you run ads, and you can look at that based on your return on ad spends or click-through rate or something like that, then you use organic ads. What does that mean? Organic ads. Like, are you paying for the ads or not? If you are paying for the ads, then you have to factor that into the price. And then you have to also consider all the fixed costs that come with that. Or if you're just going to do organic posts where you don't pay, but you know you can get viral videos, then yeah, it could work. No paid ads. Okay, so if you know you can get views and you know people are going to click that link and they're going to go shop, then yeah, the math could work. Drop shipping. I don't have any experience with drop shipping, so make sure you're dealing with a vendor that you can trust who will actually deliver the things and deliver the things that they say they're going to deliver. So the quality is there, because that's probably going to hurt you if people aren't satisfied with the product. As far as Shopify, I'm really satisfied with Shopify. I really like it as a platform. And I think they do offer 3 months free. So you can at least get the business off the ground and test it out before you actually start paying. Like, I think it's like $1 a month for 3 months, and then they start charging you $40. Whoa now what? But yeah, if you don't plan on running ads, then yeah, fine, that can work. And then also consider like what other costs are you gonna have? 3PL. So just because you can buy it for 15, what is it gonna actually cost you? What's it actually going to cost you after they ship it for you? Because they'll take their own cut too. And so, yeah, consider that. AliExpress is actually a really cool source for goods. I've been experimenting with like, what could I add as part of this wallet package? And I've gotten into Apple Watch straps. And there's a nylon version that's similar in colorway and design and material type for like $2 a piece. It's crazy. That I could easily sell for like $12, $15. Do you let it crust or wipe? I'm not sure what you're referring to. If it's pies, everyone likes pie crusts. But yeah, Shopify's interesting. Yeah, definitely if you can get views, then you don't have to worry about it. This is why, like, man, I could talk a lot about this whole e-commerce stuff if you guys want, but played well? Yeah. I mean, yeah, thank you. I appreciate the trolls though. You guys always have a soft spot in my heart because I'm a bit of a troll too. Not anymore, not as much as I used to be for sure. My spirit has been elevated since last year, but I remember, it's okay. Joe. Let's see. Let's see. No, man in the streets, but a freak in the sheets. I'm a freak in the streets and a freak in the sheets. Everyone thinks I'm weird, but I think that's what makes me awesome. I don't know. Yeah, I'm hyping myself. I don't care. I think that's why you guys mess with this energy. Here's what I think. Remember when Kanye said, if you're a fan of me, you're a fan of yourself? I mess with that energy heavy. Yeah. If you're a fan of me, you're a fan of yourself. How about that? That's the message. If you like Table Moments, if you like me, you probably like yourself too. Because like we're all like different and weird, and we're skeptical of the world. It seems like that's the people that are attracted to the content I make, who like question things, who look at the world in a different way. And if you're like that, you're freer than most of the people around you, and they don't get you. So yeah, we're all freaks in the streets. We're all freaks in the streets as far as the world is concerned. You know what's weird? As I've gone down this path, I started this social media stuff like 3 years ago, literally coming up on 3 years next month. But the podcast started like 3.5 years ago. And it's weird. Like I've gotten so comfortable being in front of camera, speaking my mind, saying whatever I want, and like living YOLO this whole thing. Not in a irresponsible way, but in a sort of I'm gonna live life on my terms and speak my mind, unafraid of what will happen. Because I don't know, fear isn't a useful. I can understand the survival mechanism behind fear, but I mean, we don't have to worry about lions and tigers eating us. It's just people look at you funny. It's like, who cares? And then I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, you know what? I don't care to be around people who can't appreciate some uniqueness and color in their life. And so I'm just as selective about people being around me as people would be about me being around them. And so it's just like I'm on a different type of energy now, and I ain't ever going back. That's why I don't think I'm fit for the corporate world anymore, because I don't think I could stand it. Just everyone, just like, you know, that politeness that people have in meetings and stuff, letting people speak when you know that it's just BSing, just I don't know, just like, or BS meetings at all. Just like, why are we here? We don't need to be here. What are we meeting for? No decisions are being made. Who booked this meeting? What's on the agenda? There's no agenda. It's like, nah, I can't do that anymore. I'm about like just what's the work, what needs to be done now, and most work is BS work, and that's the thing I've accepted. And I'm just like, I'm not fit for the corporate world, not anymore, not anymore, man. And I don't care to like. I have some stories. Like, you guys see a guy who's talking into camera, who's been talking for an hour and 6 minutes. To you, it's just like, oh, you must be this outgoing, talkative guy who's, you know, social and all. It's like, nah, in real life, when I'm interacting with people, man, I'm usually quiet and I like to listen. I like to listen to people. What's your opinion on Iman Ghazi? Is that how you say his name? Ghazi? Ghazi or Ghazi? I think he knows how to make money off of young people who have aspirations of wealth. That's what I think. Yeah, I don't know. I smell BS anytime I see one of these younger guys. Here's the thing. The reason why they flash the cars, they flash the houses, they flash the lifestyle is because they understand the persuasion play. And they are appealing to younger men. Hey, you could have all this. Buy my course for hundreds or thousands of dollars. It's just like they make their wealth off of young impressionable kids who want to have all those things that they're showing off on camera. And so it's just like, it's all marketing. That's what I see. I see a lot of this on money Twitter. They are making money for sure, but they're making money off of you. So just be clear about that. And if you actually want to understand, like when it comes to actually making money in the world, like I think Naval Ravikant, his podcast, a point he makes is like, the reason why I don't charge for any of the information I give is because it would ruin its credibility. Because as someone who's made money doing something, wouldn't have to sell you on it, wouldn't have to sell it to you because they've made their money doing something else. And so this is where like the Alex Hormozi, if you're going to choose someone in this social finance space, go with Alex Hormozi. Even then, he has some issues, I think some personal issues that he hasn't quite addressed, but that's on him. But as far as business advice, it's solid. It's solid. Finance is greater than marketing. I think they both play a role, but marketing can make the finances work. And so it's like, I don't know. And I would wager you're like more of a numbers guy if that's your position. Because it is easy as someone who's like more technical on the numbers in finance to dismiss how important marketing is. Because marketing lets you make the finances work in weird ways. So that's where brand and positioning can really come in. And so your margins could be a lot higher. And so the equation, at least as far as the finances go, work a lot better when you can charge a lot more for the same product anyone else is offering because you're good at marketing and you have brand. And I'm realizing this with the things I sell. Like, I don't have brand right now. I crossed 100 orders, which is a pretty important milestone for me. But like, I don't have an e-commerce brand yet. I have a Table Moments brand, a podcast brand, but not an e-commerce brand. So I can't position myself better on pricing yet. But one day, and here's the thing, I'm also keeping an eye on finance. I want to stay profitable since the beginning. And so I'm actually like figuring out the manufacturing process and then also figuring out the logistics of it all to speed up the time to fulfillment. And so I can use those advantages when I've built this brand to a big enough point that I can command a higher price. And then it makes the finances work much, much better. But I hear you though, forehead snatcher. Agree. What do you go to school for? Mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering too, aerospace and mechanical. Hello, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer a promotion of your channel. Yeah, come on, bro. Come on. I don't do bots. I don't do bots. I don't take shortcuts. Oh yeah, that's another thing about me. I don't take shortcuts. I always have to do things the hard way. I don't know what it is about me, but like, I don't care to take shortcuts. I care to learn things, which is the thing that I don't understand about ChatGPT and its heavy use by people. It's like you realize the only people you're cheating, the only person you're cheating is yourself when you use a chatbot to write your essay or to do your homework or to figure out how to build this thing. Now, it's useful when you're just trying to get something done. I get that. Like you want something explained or summarized for you in a way that you can use it right away. Sure. But if you're in school and you're using ChatGPT, you're cheating yourself, man. You're actually cheating yourself. The whole point of writing an essay is not the completion of the essay. It's about coming up with an idea, writing it, figuring out how to do research, reading sources, compiling sentences together to make it coherent, rewriting it to make it flow better, organizing it, and then maybe even making a persuasion or a compelling case for a position. And that's all training you to think. I think people have forgotten the whole point of school. Like, and I'm realizing this is true about a lot of things. We forgot the point of things. And so it's like we're settling for these fake imitations of what things are supposed to be. Or an idea, do you think beating the market is possible? As far as like stock, I don't know. I think it's possible. There's value to be had. Value investing, which I'm sure you're familiar with. The whole, what's his name? Benjamin Graham. His whole idea about identifying opportunities that people are sleeping on, essentially. Martin Shkreli has a really good series of videos explaining how to assess and project the values of stocks. But I mean, you don't necessarily have to just trade stocks. You can trade bonds, you can trade currencies, you can trade, there are other vehicles of trading. And when people think of the market, they only think of stocks, which are basically units of ownership of a company, which is also another thing. People don't even understand. That's what a stock is. It is a unit of ownership of a company. And so like, that's why like when businesses go bankrupt or whatever, the stockholders are the last to get paid out if there's anything left over, because it's equity. It's not actually like, it's like the least senior type of financial instrument in a company. Is the wallet now available in your bio? Yeah, actually. I just crossed 100 orders, which is pretty cool. It's like, it's actually going decently well. There's still a lot of optimizations to make, but it's been going well. Is it like okay to use ChatGPT for business purposes only? I mean, that's up to you. I know someone personally who uses it to write emails and stuff, which is fine by me, I guess. But like, if you ever run into a person in real life and you don't sound like your emails, I don't know. Yeah. Mr. Shkreli uses discounted cash flow. I only construct DCFs for my top 5 positions. Very time consuming. Yeah, it is very time consuming. And he's pretty wicked fast with the Excel sheets, not going to lie. I use it for emails. Yeah, I think a lot of people use it for emails, ChatGPT. So, yeah. I do like his approach, though. Like, you are making predictions about the trajectory of a company when you're investing in it. And I don't know if people understand that. Like a lot of these traders on Robinhood, I don't know if they realize that's what you're doing. You're trading units of a business. And so like, wouldn't it make sense that you look at the 10K, the 10Q to understand the finances and the fundamentals of that business? It's not just like, and yeah, I know there are people who look at trends and charts and it's like, oh, that's sort of the human psychology play of it all. But I don't know. I've been thinking about this a lot. Like even the idea of like a business, I came up with this earlier today. I'm like, people think the point of business is to make money. It's like, no. I think that's wrong. The point of a business is to create excess value. Is that what I was saying? excess abundance is to create excess abundance. And if it successfully does that, it gets to take some of that abundance for itself, and that comes in the form of money. So if you think about it, there's only really two ways to create abundance in the world. Either you take the same amount of resources and you're able to produce more with it, or you're able to make the same amount of resources with less material. And so preferably, this is the if you're able to do both, be able to make more with less, that's like the golden, that's special. That's special. You're onto something really special if you can do that. But that's essentially what businesses are used to be about. It used to be about. That's why like TV prices, they drop because technology has improved so much. You're using the same amount of resources, but are able to provide it to more people at a lower price. You're creating excess abundance, and you get to keep some of that abundance. And that's where the profit comes from. That's where the making money part comes from. Now, that's not necessarily true in today's market, because just branding and marketing and stuff like that, or even just the ability to sell, can create this sort of like monetary relationship in commerce. But essentially, that's the reason for a business existing. And if a business isn't able to do that, then it goes out of business because it's not profitable. Now, you know, we live in this world where there's all these like weird ways of running businesses where you can lose money for a really long time with the plan of making money later and all that, which kind of messes up this whole idea. But I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on it though? NASA found water on Mars. The scoreboard: Mars 1, Africa 0. There's water in Africa, bro. What are you talking about? The 10Ks and proxy statements are a must read. You can't have objective information to form an opinion. 100 agree with you. Yeah. And so it's just like people have forgotten the point of business. And so this is like, I'm seeing this everywhere. People have completely missed the entire reason for things existing. So much so that things don't mean what they used to mean. And so like sometimes maybe the advantage is just to go back to basics. The point of a business is to create excess abundance. How do you do that? If you can find a business where it does do that, or an opportunity where it does do that, then it's just a matter of making it work, figuring it out to a point that it's sustainable, that you can also increase your customer base without actually introducing too much customer acquisition costs, and you have a successful business. Like people think about like, oh, it's marketing, branding, all that stuff. It's like, yeah, you can pay your way to success if you have the money, which a lot of people, when you're starting off, you don't. Your resources are tight. And so it's like, look for opportunities where you can do that. Also, another thing to consider is like, if you're going to get into business, if you want an easier time, feed people's vices. Feed people's vices. And Alex Hormozi, I don't think he spends enough time or enough focus on emphasizing this point. He mentions it in his book, $100 Million Offers. The offers part is really, really important. If your offer is related to money, relationships, or health, it's going to be so much easier than doing anything else, because these are cravings people already have. This is also true in social media as well. That's why you see a bunch of money content, relationship content, and health content. You see a bunch of fitness influencers eating good off this. You see a bunch of business people making content centered around money. That's why my video about the $2 bill, stupid views. Now, the thing I did with my video is I was trying to make a moral case about how it's just paper that people are like so desperate for. But yeah, it's just like, man, the opportunity is the most important thing. The idea is the most important thing. And how you execute on that idea determines how big the thing grows. And so this is like, and I'm noticing as I learn more and more and get deeper and deeper into like the expert field, or at least becoming more competent at this stuff, I'm realizing it just gets simpler and simpler. And then that's how you know when someone's actually competent at what they're doing, when they can explain it simply. And so like the offer is the most important thing. I think the era of business being allowed to run on a loss for a long time is over. Rates will be, yeah, I agree too. I mean, especially with like interest rates as they are. Hey, I have a question. Feel free to ask it, bro. People expect 6 cuts by the Fed in 4 months. It's down to 2. Look at Tesla. Investors are getting impatient. Yeah. It's, I don't know, man. I guess, yeah, I don't know. I feel some type of way about it, because it's like it kind of ruins the market, because it's like the only players who can win are the people who have access to capital. because they can afford to lose for a long time until they win. And so then it's not really a matter of competence. Obviously, you have to be competent to be able to get to a point where you can grow it to billions upon billions of dollars. But man, like clearly there are kingmakers now, and they're called VCs because they're the ones who are supplying who can lose the most for the longest. And so it's just like, all right, is this the best? Is this the natural best outcomes for people? And I think this is where, like us smaller guys, where we don't have access to these circles, this is where I think finding these things that these people get wrong, these truths that they believe are true that aren't actually quite so, is where we can shine. And so like with this whole AI stuff and ChatGPT, I think the play actually might be, and like even with the self-driving car stuff, everyone in tech is so focused on replacing people, they've completely missed the opportunity of like enhancing people. Like it's orders of magnitude easier to turn one person, to make one person equivalent to 1,000 people than it is to just replace a person entirely with a robot. It's so much easier. And they don't see it because I think they're all just software dudes. If you're a mechanical engineer or you work in the physical space, you're sort of constrained by realities and the physics of the world. You realize, yeah, robots can't do it. Not even close. Not even close. So it's not about replacing fast food workers. It's about making one person be able to make 1,000 burgers. That's the game. But whatever. And I think this is where we can shine. I think this is where we can shine. Speaking of raising capital, virality and persona is key for easy money. Yeah, that's true. I've been thinking about this whole idea of like favor. I don't know if I would describe it, if I'm describing it properly, but the idea being is like if you're well accepted and you're easier to support, or maybe even stupid things like being physically attractive, it makes things a lot easier. But because it's easier, you don't actually become better. Like it turns out the things for life to actually become more competent, to actually work on yourself, to actually improve, requires suffering, requires difficulties. And if you never had any, you never get good. And so like, that's why you see a lot of these like talentless fools on TikTok or whatever who are now like desperate for like, oh man, the platform's going to leave, whatever. It's just like, it's because a lot of these people never decided to actually get good at this content game. I've been active on 3 platforms. TikTok was the first one I blew up on, but then I still made content. And here's the thing. I know there's certain types of content that I would kill it at, like the reaction stuff and everything. That was the first video that went stupid viral for me on TikTok. And I actually had this conversation with my brother. He's like, ooh, you should make more of this content. People love it. I'm like, no. I actually want to get good at this content stuff. I want to actually put together a series of ideas, write a script, be able to put together a video, edit it, and maybe even add B-roll and everything to actually make a piece of content that can stand up on its own without it relying on other people. And I was determined to do that. And so now I am active on 3 platforms, semi-successful on Instagram and YouTube. It just took longer, but I mean, that's just how it goes. I don't know. I think people think too short-term with this stuff. ERDs can be bad, but if everyone's talking about it, you'll get money and eyes on you, like the fake AI company. A fake AI company? Which one was that? Was that the fake AI company? Which one was that? Let me see. Well, it's not the humane. No, that's a different thing. Let's see. News. TikTok is the best platform ever created. Maybe it was, but I don't know. The feed has been kind of lacking lately for me. Has that been true for you guys? You guys have been enjoying your time on TikTok? I feel like the content algorithm, whatever, has just been missing a lot lately. I'm swiping way more than I normally do. And so I don't know what's going on. And I think the shop links, yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't know. I think it'd be, I don't know. I'm always constantly like debating about this stuff. Like, I get it. It's cool. But then at the same time, they're also playing the same games all the other platforms do. So it is what it is. It is what it is. It's okay. I mean, like, they come, they go. And there's this idea called the Lindy effect, where something lasts as long as the lifetime of something is equivalent to how long it's existed. So if it's been around for 4 years, it likely has another 4 years. If it's been around for 20 years, it likely has another 20 years of life. And it's a weird equation, but this is why like things that grow super fast likely will crash really hard. So that might be the problem with TikTok. They grew too fast. Icarus and all that stuff, you know? When Kaseo finally hits the gym, I don't know what that is. Kaseo? Is this Cas? Who's Casio? I don't know who that is. Read the article on Economics Times titled "Fake AI." Fake AI generated startup gets lucrative funding offer on LinkedIn. You know, it's funny. It reminds me of that scene from. You guys remember The Big Short? You probably enjoy that movie if you're a finance guy. It might be my favorite movie, The Big Short. It's a movie essentially describing the 2008 housing crash and the people who saw it coming and were able to make hella money off of it because they were able to short the market and stuff in unique ways. And essentially, it reminds me of that opening scene with Dr. Burry, I think his name, where he was talking about, did you think it was weird how the dot-com crash happened, yet housing prices in the Bay Area, the epicenter of the dot-com boom, housing prices went up. And later in that scene, he explains like how you can identify how fraudulent a space is when things like that happen. And so that might be the case with this AI stuff and the whole tech space. There's a lot more fraud. And that's usually a sign of like a bubble. So that might be what's happening. But it is one of my favorite movies, man. It actually is. I Need TV Women. What does that mean? It's interesting. Like Burry, though, he has become too much of a contrarian nowadays. I don't know. I have a soft spot for contrarians, and I would say I'm a contrarian too. I doubt what the populace thinks is all the time. Which I know being a blanket contrarian will mean you're wrong most of the time, but then when you're right big. So it's just about like discretion and figuring out when to be contrarian and when not to. But yeah, a lot of people don't like what he said. I think he has like some controversial opinions against Bitcoin. But I mean, the guy is obsessive about this stuff. So yeah, and just because he's right about one thing doesn't necessarily mean which is why I don't like all the fanboys who are just like glazing him hella hard all the time. It's like, yeah, you can listen to what he says. And if he's saying something that's contrary and way out there, it doesn't mean it's right. It just means pay attention. Because maybe he sees something, which is why anytime I run into someone who says something that's contrary to what most people would believe or just like frame something in a really unusual way, I'm like, okay, interesting person. What do they see that everyone else doesn't see? And I don't know. I like those, and I see it in myself too. And so, like, even with this whole idea of like table moments, I'm like, I remember this started off as a siblings podcast, and I explained to my siblings, like, guys, one day this will have an audience. Just trust me. We're not there yet, and yeah, the quality isn't there, but we will get there one day. Since then, they've dropped off, but I'm there now. So I saw it. That's a crazy thing. It's just like, yeah, people will doubt you. It is what it is. You have to get used to people just like questioning you all the time, which sucks as a contrarian because it's just like, could I just get support this one time? You know, I was right every other time. Like, they don't get it. And it's just like, I've learned to accept it. That is Bitcoin halving. Yeah. What is Bitcoin halving? Basically, the payouts for the miners are going to be cut in half. there's a lot to explain about the Bitcoin thing, and I don't even know if I'm the right person to explain it. I tried reading the Bitcoin white paper. Some of it makes sense, but even the blockchain stuff idea, like I'm still unclear how this white paper turned into a protocol. Like who actually wrote the initial piece of code? Was it Satoshi, or what? Did he just publish the white paper and someone decided? That's the confusing part. Maybe Satoshi did, but then everyone just put up all these like miners and stuff. Maybe, I don't know. I'm a little confused about it. I'm contrarian also, but it seems like it does just for the sake of doing now. Burry is my biggest influencer on my investment strategy, but man, he's become insufferable. I believe in you, man. Yeah, that's the thing. I've gotten so used to like being slept on. It is what it is. Like, I'm just like, yeah, people will learn. It's just, and that's the thing you have to learn to accept about yourself if you're going to be a contrarian or take this path where you're forging your own destiny. I don't know. Finding your own path is, I think, the better way to describe it. You have to learn to accept that people will not get it, especially if you're doing something different than everybody else. They're not going to get it. The funny thing is, like, all the stuff I was calling out, I like calling my shots early too. So all the stuff I said about this podcast, I'm like, yeah, we're going to have sponsors and whatever. I don't have sponsors yet, but I do get free stuff. I get offers for free stuff all the time, which would have been really useful. I think, like, yeah, if we wanted to start a reviews channel, easily could do it with a bunch of, I get emails every day from companies who are like, hey, promote our product, promote this, promote that. Hey, would you do this? 20% commission. I could make all this money promoting stuff. I could create a whole separate channel, or if like one of my siblings wanted to do it, they could, and they would have access to all this stuff and it would be shipped. Like I got this for free here. I haven't put together the kit yet, but I like puzzles. And so they sent me this along with, I can't show it to you, but it's like a version of this. It's pretty cool. What is it you do? E-commerce? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah, I'm doing e-commerce now. I make these wallets myself and I sell them. That's how I'm making money now. Sometimes every now and then I make money from social media, but essentially I'm just like living life on my own terms. I have a lot of money saved up, so I kind of just like doing my own thing. I'm also working on some software stuff to help support the e-commerce stuff, but I would say here's the thing. I still struggle to describe what I do for a living. I think at this point, I don't even know what to call it. I just do what I want, man. I'm retired, I guess. Not retired in the sense that I don't have to work ever. Retired in the sense that I can work on whatever I want. Eventually, I'll have to make this income steady, but right now I have money coming in spurts, and it is what it is. It's enough for me. I just bought a wallet on TikTok 2 weeks ago. I would have looked at yours. Oh, no worries, dude. No worries. It's a certain type of wallet. It's a thin wallet. So if you want something super thin, this is what you would use. And I have plenty of people who enjoy it. So I'm cool. That's the thing. And I sized it perfectly for American currency. It doesn't come with the metal corners. This is an experiment that I'm doing with these. It's just, I guess at this point, I'm a product designer and e-commerce, I guess. But I also do social media, and I'm working on software now too. I'm all over the place, man. I don't know how to describe it. And I'm also the host of the podcast, so that's cool too. It would be a bad thing if AI gets put in school. Yeah, I guess. I don't even know. I don't know if you guys know, I have controversial opinions about just public schools in general. I don't think they should exist. I think learning pods make way more sense for students. Schools are basically prisons for children. And I know, there are some good teachers out here, even what's her name? She comes in, Curried. She's familiar with the educational system, and she's probably one of the good ones, but I don't know, in general, I don't look favorably on the whole public school system. Bro, Andrew Tate 2.0? No. I'm not. It's funny. People have said that before. It's like when Andrew Tate was blowing up, man, people, and especially because I already had I've been saying this stuff for like 3 years. It's just I didn't have clout. I still don't have clout, at least at that size. But people are like, bro, you're like Andrew Tate, whatever. You're just as controversial. It's like, no. I'm more controversial than Andrew Tate. more controversial, and more righteous. That's what I would say. Andrew Tate is more of a grifter. I don't have a problem with it because at least he's waking up some dudes. But I mean, if you haven't graduated past Andrew Tate, then I don't know if you're actually like really learning anything. So that's my position on him. Like, I'm not going to criticize a dude who's waking up people, but at the same time, it's very shallow. So there's nuance there. Bros, Andrew Tate 2.0. I'm not Andrew Tate 2.0. I'm not going to tell. Yeah, there's definitely some. Yeah, we can go into it if you guys want to. We can, but we don't have to either. So your call, dreaming memes. If you want me to elaborate or if you have any questions, but I'm not Andrew Tate. I'm not. I'd like to think I'm a better version of him. And I know to a lot of young guys, it's like if you're not showing off fancy cars and a bunch of thotties in your videos, then you're not worth listening to, which is crazy. I mean, just like, I don't know. It is what it is. NGO with Soros, Muslim Brotherhood ties, pushed Biden IDF sanctions. That's a lot going on there, clown Biden, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Caseo versus Gorlock the Destroyer. I don't know what any of this means, man. Let me see. Can I copy? See, I wish StreamYard would let me copy this so I could just Google it in real time. I have no idea what that means, man. Caseo? Caseo versus Gorlock. Is this some Twitch drama? Is that what you guys are talking about right now? Or is this like, I don't understand. Too skinny, he's only, I don't get it. So yeah. All right, you guys got anything? I've been talking for an hour and 36 minutes, so I'll let you guys ask questions, at least in the meantime. Because like I could riff. I have no problem riffing, especially like considering just interviewed Armed Atlas on YouTube. And Caseo is a fat streamer that got bullied by his chat. How do you get bullied by a chat? Like you could just turn them off. What? How do you get bullied by a chat? That's crazy. You got bullied? That's, let's see. Caseo bullied. Getting bullied for 17 minutes. Oh, I'm going to have to watch this after. Why is everyone so effing mean to this guy? It's just goofs and Caseo knows it. Am I saying his name right? All actual trolls are ignored by him and most of the time banned. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing. When it comes to like this online stuff, you have to get used to the hate. You have to get used to people trolling you, which is why like you got to judo flip it. You got to like take it and reverse it. It's like the guy asked me on TikTok, like, do you let it crust or do you wipe? And I turned it into a pie joke. Like, I don't know. It's like, you can't take the internet too seriously, man. This is the thing I miss about the old internet. It used to be a place where you could just be like super mean, flame wars. They also had this rule, tits or get the F out, which I actually am planning a script explaining the wisdom behind it and turn it into like a philosophical lesson. Turn it into a moral lesson about gender equality on the internet. I think that'd be a hilarious video to make and be like, look, it sounds crass and churlish, but it's actually wisdom displayed on the internet. How we treated everyone as if they were men. And the moment you mention that you're female, you are convincing people to give you favor. This subtle bias that all people have towards women, favorable bias that people have towards women. And so the rule was on the internet is you do not mention your gender. And the moment you do, that is a sign of shame and you should pay a price for it. And that's where the tits or get the fuck out thing came. And so queso. Oh, okay, queso. Got it. Thank you for that, man. Yeah. How to say queso. Queso. All right, cool. So I might still make that video.
explaining internet lore and rules and stuff like that. It's just like there was a lot of wisdom that came with it, and you realize like I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I miss about the old internets. 90s, 2000s internet was Wild West. That's the beauty of it. And I think people even look when people talk about the Wild West, they usually speak about it in as wild times or a negative time or where things were bad. It's like the Wild West was self-governed. If you actually look into the history of the true Wild West, it's like there was no imposition of like government on people. There was no like people enforced their own communities and their laws and the way they would conduct business with each other in their communities and how they would interact with each other. Turns out the Wild West is like, it's brutal, but at least it's fair. It's more fair than what we're living under now. And so it's like, and of course, when we hear about the Wild West, even the description, Wild West, it wasn't wild. It was very organized. It was very organized in this sort of like decentralized way, sort of like Bitcoin, I think. You wouldn't call, yeah, the Bitcoin, you could say the crypto markets are wild, but there's also some stability that comes with like your coins not being inflated, away. The problem is people are very brave when they are anonymous. They say stuff they wouldn't dare. Yeah, I agree. But I mean, I don't mind that because it's just words. It's just words. It's like I like being. Here's the funny thing. Like I actually talked with Armed Atlas on this week's episode of the podcast. We were talking about social media censorship and how they ban certain words, they ban certain things, or they even ban certain types of content. But people will always manage a way to circumvent any bans or rules or any draconian policies that they have on censoring people. They always do. And they come up with weird and clever words or monikers to continue saying the things that they want to say. So it's just like this foolish cat and mouse game that the platforms constantly lose. And so, and in the end, we end up getting this like neutered, like watered down internet. Now you Google something, you're not going to get a decent answer on it because everything is like just promoted posts or things that are safe. You can't get honesty or truth from anything anymore, which is why I think like we end up having to like, this is why I think apps like Telegram can work. It's because there's nowhere else. There's nowhere else. Bro should teach us how to get outside and touch grass. Are you talking about me? Okay. Like, what's there to teach? I go for walks all the time. I recommend it, by the way. If you want to get into like living a healthier lifestyle and you haven't exercised in a long time, getting back into the gym or trying any heavy cardio will be awful on your body. Just go for a walk. And you'll be surprised, like just start off with 5 minutes, go for a walk, come back. Maybe not even that. Just go, get out, walk 1 block, come back. That's your first night. That's it. The second night, do it again. Next time, do that again, but maybe a little further. And then just keep going and going and going. And then eventually you're gonna be walking hella. And then once you get to the point where you're walking so much, you'll actually like prefer different foods because your body's actually exercising and it needs different things. And so you'll actually actually eat healthier. And so then you're going to start getting into the whole fitness thing. And it's all about getting those like first few wins initially so that you can get yourself along this like curve of success. What gym do you go to? I have a Planet Fitness membership, but I also have a gym in my apartment building. So I don't go to the gym as often as I used to. I don't know. I have these like cycles, but I still like walk hella miles every day. So I'm a walker. I'm for censoring anonymous accounts. Identify yourself if you want to say something. Healthy food is so expensive. I'm thinking that's not a coincidence. I think certain healthy foods are expensive, but at the same time, like, I don't know, the grocery aisle, actually food isn't that expensive. I mean, watermelon, when it's cut up, is expensive, but watermelon whole, where you have to cut it up yourself, is actually very affordable. Fruit is very affordable when you do the prep yourself. And so that's the part that's expensive, the time. Whole Foods, you don't got to go to Whole Foods. H-E-B is great, guys. If you live in Texas, H-E-B, I even thought about making a video about this. Like, H-E-B is the greatest grocery store I've ever been to. Everything they got, everything works so well. I'm surprised they even run any advertising because it's just such a great service. Affordable prices, access to pretty much anything. They're relatively clean. It's like Walmart mixed with Whole Foods. So you have the accessibility and the pricing of Walmart, but all the variety and and the type of food that you would get at a Whole Foods. I'm trying to move to Texas. If you can stand the weather, so just keep that in mind. Like the summers are brutally hot. So, or if you can own two homes, one in the summer you go up north, in the south you go to Texas. That might be the strategy for me long term. Like I will live. You like humidity? Oh man! All right, then you might actually enjoy it. Take a visit to Texas. If you're ever in the Austin area, let me know. We could grab some coffee or whatever, or yeah, that'd be cool. Bro, David Goggins 2.0? No, David Goggins is insane. It'd be cool if one day I can get to that point, but I'm not. But yeah, if you like humidity, take a trip to Texas. Maybe come here for like a music festival. South by Southwest just ended, but I've been to Texas a few times, but never in summer. Yeah, you got to try the summer first. It's brutally humid and hot. It's tough. And been to Dallas and Houston. Okay, yeah, Dallas is cool. Houston's, I don't know. I've heard violent stories in Houston. It's like I literally talked with Armed Atlas this week, or this week's episode of the podcast. We were talking about Ja Morant. The basketball player who got caught up with the whole waving the piece and everything, and how he was suspended or whatever for a period of time. And the point I was making, or I think we concluded, was it's because he was playing for Memphis that it was a problem that he was doing what he was doing. If he actually played for a Texas team like the Mavericks, I think they would have let it slide, because it's just like part of the Texas culture. Everyone's strapped. And if he played for the Rockets, the Houston Rockets, all that behavior would have fit right in with Houston. Like it would have been perfect. You live in Texas? All right. Yeah. How do you feel about Texas? I've been here about a year. It stays over 100 degrees up until 10 p.m. Yeah, this is the one thing I don't like. It's humid and hot, and then it stays humid and hot very late at night, which sucks, because like I like going for long walks, especially at night, but you can't really go for a long walk at night if it's like hella humid. It ruins it. But I was thinking like maybe I could just use this as training, as like, when you're in a sauna, or like like boxers or whatever. I'm thinking that's what I can use the weather as. Maybe I'll get into like boxing or something and just like run or jog in the humidity. Quavo's nephew was murdered in Houston. That sucks. That's like when people say Zion's weight issues are because he plays for New Orleans. Do people say that? I don't know if it has anything to do with New Orleans. I think the dude just likes food, which, I mean, I get it. Food is delicious, man. I think didn't he get in trouble with some like 304 or whatever? Or like he got someone knocked up or something. Good movie idea, Rocky versus Mike Tyson. I feel like AI could generate a script for that, and I would love to film it. I would train. That's the thing. Like, there's certain elements of boxing that I really enjoy. Speed bag's awesome. Where I used to work, they had a gym in the building, and they installed a speed bag, and I actually got pretty good at it. Just like, I don't know, it's just something very therapeutic, especially if you're going to do shoulders, weightlift for shoulders or something. It's a great warm up, just like the speed bag and everything. And I got to the point where I was even better than the trainers. And it's just like, and then you could start doing the beats, and you could do the spins and everything. And then all the like, yeah, that's fun. As far as like boxing straight up, these teeth here are crowns, and I don't want to damage them. So I don't know if I'd ever, how much do you bench? I have no clue. The most I ever did was like 240 something, but I don't bench anymore. And you realize, like, as you get older, it's about preserving your joints. So I don't even bench anymore. But that's the most I got. I don't have a strong chest. I might look like I do. I don't. I have a much stronger back. And so, yeah. He needs to play in Northern California. Benching is the best exercise. I don't know, man. I've had shoulder issues. And so, like, I stick with machines at this point. For me, like, I heard someone say this, or I think someone tweeted this, where they were talking about, like, if you want to be able to lift weights as old as possible, continue doing this for the rest of your life, do what the old people are doing. And they mostly, if you look at older people, they use just machines. And I get it, because it's like you got to protect these things.
Got to go lighter then, not too heavy. I don't know. I've done that, dude. I've done that. It's just like I've noticed like with I prefer like cables and things where I don't have to worry about like especially if you think about the physics of a bench, like it's not an even load on the muscle itself because of the angle of the arms as it changes. The moment on those joints changes. And so it's just like I think I prefer. And here's the thing, I think it also comes down to preference too. Because like if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it. So if you're thinking about getting into the gym or whatever, find the exercise you actually enjoy doing. And for me, it's like mostly machines or cables or I'll use free weights every now and then, like if it's like dumbbell presses or something, which I know are probably more dangerous for the joint, but I go light on those. And yeah, it is what it is. Got to go lighter then, not too heavy. Yeah, but yeah. Also, humble yourself when you're in the gym. If you're a younger guy thinking about, just don't injure yourself, man. If you got to go light, go light. And no one's looking at it. No one cares. I had testicular cancer in my shoulder. Okay. The gym is the best cure for depression. I think it is. I don't know if it's maybe. I mean, it's definitely a way to like overcome whatever low points you got going on for sure. Bro gonna have that Quagmire physique from Family Guy. Quagmire physique. I don't know what that looks like. Glenn Quagmire. I don't know what that means. Is that like a reference to one episode or something? Gym. Where he just does benches or something. Bro, I found your channels off of Reels. I love your content. You're a genius, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, bro. Like I've been making, if you look at the channel, there's like 700 videos. It's taken me a while to get to this point. And here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. I'm not even good enough yet. I don't think I'm even close to being as good as I can be. I want to get as good as like, as far as storytelling and being able to make a piece of content that can engage with someone, but then also share a really important or deep message. I want to get as good as Casey was. Casey and I said, Mr. Beast, I know a lot of people glaze him hella hard. He's the best YouTuber, whatever. It's like, no. He has no creative bone in his body, and you could tell by the content he makes. I want to do something that like pushes people, elevates the human spirit, and then also like doesn't necessarily need to do numbers either. I think I've been purposeful about attracting the right people. So the fact that you enjoy the content means you're the right person for this. So like, I think everyone's too focused on the numbers and stuff. One arm bigger than another. Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. How to fix testicular cancer in the shoulder in the gym. Maybe you should do like blood doping like Lance Armstrong did. I think that's what cured him. My only issue with Texas is that 420 isn't legal. Yeah, that is, I'm not gonna lie. Here's the thing. 420 is great. I'm more of a gummies guy. I don't deal with the smoke. I can't do smoke, but like, and here's the thing. Like I've recently become religious too, but at the same time, I know how I am when I'm on the gummies, especially when I'm with my girl. It's just like, it's a good time. And it is, yeah, I'm hoping maybe the unlock, I'm hoping I can get so deep in the faith that I can feel what I feel when I'm high with her. Cause that's like, yo, that is an unlock. That's as much as I can describe it for social media is what I'm going to say. Rogan used to have a 6-pack, but that's long gone now. I mean, he's older. A lot of these guys are on like testosterone replacement therapy too, which I think us guys who aren't on it don't appreciate what a huge productivity and feeling unlock that could bring. I don't know if I'll ever go into it, but yeah. I found your shorts high one night and video after video, my mind was blown, mouth open, showed your vids to my coworkers the next day. Oh, thanks, man. There's only like 3 people watching. This is basically a FaceTime call, LMAO. Yeah, I don't mind. I actually prefer the intimate nature of this. Like, I suck with like keeping up with comments, so I like that I can just post your comments on there, interact with people. I think a lot of content creators are too focused on like, hey, there needs to be a large number of people watching. Even I was live streaming when there was nobody watching. That's how you get to the point where you can actually like be able to, you got to practice. You got to practice. Like, I know what Iverson said
But yeah, you got to practice. And I think a lot of people took his that statement out of context. Not gonna lie, but you got to practice. And the best part about like live streaming is if you suck, no one's gonna be watching, so you get to practice in solo. And that's how you learn to like speak off the top of your head. And eventually I want to like organize all this, and I actually want to get as good as Kevin Samuel as not necessarily, I don't care to talk about relationships exclusively like he did, but I do want to get to the point where the production quality, or not even the production quality, the narrative is as good as the way he did it. I don't think people appreciated the effort and the talent that he displayed when he actually did these monologues. Okay, my live on TikTok has just been age restricted. I don't get it. But yeah, the guy he will be missed, man. TRT is for old people. You're in Austin. Have you been to the mothership? I don't even know what the mothership is, man. I don't really go out that much. I'm not let me see. The mothership, Austin. No, I haven't. Is that where, I should definitely check that out now. Thank you for that, dude. I've done if you look at the YouTube channel, I've done some 6th Street interviews, and those are cool too, but I don't know. I've experimented a lot. Mothership is Rogan's Club. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll check it out if there's a comedian I actually want to see. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Rogan himself, but let's see. Is there anyone here? All right, we'll see. Thank you for that though. I hate it when I'm in a live stream and I'm the only viewer and the streamer doesn't read anything. LOL, like, bro, for real? I mean, like, then what are they doing? Are they just gaming or something? That's the thing. I know what I'm doing is probably different than most, but I like interacting with you guys. I feel like it's building a relationship. I get to know about you. You guys get to ask me questions. I get to learn things about like the mothership. I didn't even know. I've learned a lot of things connecting with people online. And I've actually gotten a chance to meet people from like TikTok Live or whatever. He's going to be the next Dylan Madden. Who's going to be the next Dylan Madden? Who's Dylan Madden? Me? Who's Dylan Madden? Is this a joke? Madden. Author? Helping you monetize your skills using social media. I'll show you how to do it in my book launch soon. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't sound like me at all. Who are you talking about, bro? I want to give information for free. I don't care to charge you guys any of it. I actually have been thinking about putting together a video series explaining all the stuff I've learned from social media. A lot of people want some clout. A lot of people want some attention. They want it to grow a business or build a following, or some of you younger guys just want it so that you could get girls easier. I have all this, like, I got so much. I've learned so much doing this stuff, and and here's the thing. I've even been approached by guys who do like social media marketing and building social accounts, and they're like, and they teach you how to make 10K a month from this stuff, or more or whatever, and turn it into a business and sell like a course. And yeah, I could easily monetize this, but I don't know. Personally, I think information should be free. And so eventually when I get around to it and I have the free time, or like I formulate the idea completely, I actually do want to put together a video series explaining all the stuff I've learned from social media and how I've learned to grow an account, which isn't necessarily the right way, but it's the way I've figured out for the type of content and the variety of content I've made. And then also it'd be cool to actually try it out with a couple people to see if I can extend it beyond me. Because it's not enough to just be able to do it for yourself. You have to be able to do it for other people before you can talk about teaching it to other people. And so like I'd probably work with a couple people on Instagram who've DM'd me, asking me some questions and stuff, see if I can work with them one-on-one behind the scenes and see if I can put some content together using all the things that I know. And then through that process, document it all, and then just give it as like a YouTube playlist or something. It's like, here's everything I've learned on social media, and I'm still learning in real time. Hopefully this is useful. And then just give it away for free. I was like, I don't need to monetize information. Nah, I don't think so. Iverson is broke, but will be rich again when he's 55. Oh, why? Is it like retirement for NBA players? I want your advice. I'm not 100% into the girl I'm dating right now. She's leaving the country in 5 months and we'll break up. What should I do? I'm not 100% into the girl. What does that mean? All right. She's leaving the country in 5 months. it sounds like you're coming from a position of scarcity, bro. Like, if she's going to be leaving the country in 5 months, you're not even 100% into her. You will break up. I don't know. Like, so you're just enjoying each other's company in the meantime? Or is it just because you don't have to? Yeah, I know. Dating girls is work, guys. It is a part-time job if you're doing it properly. And it sounds like, to me, you're coming from a position of scarcity. Like, this is where the gym stuff can really help. Like, if you, girls are really shallow, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this. They are incredible. They are just as shallow as we are. They're just better at hiding it. And you'll be surprised what you can get away with when you're an attractive guy, or at least you're attractive. And here's the thing. You don't have to be generally attractive, guys. You don't have to be generally attractive to the populace of women. You just need to find your niche. That's it. I have a niche. That's who. And so, like, if you find your niche, it's like pretty easy to get girls. You just got to find it. For me, it's smart black girls, black girls who go to, who have college degrees, who, that's my niche. Like, and it's like every time, even on the dating apps, like when I was on there, I knew, like, as soon as it looked like a girl who has a degree, who probably went to college or university or something like that, as soon as I swipe, I know I'm getting a match. I know it. And then it's just a numbers game. And then your close rate, over 5%, you're actually doing pretty good. So understand it from a perspective of sales. This is just for online dating. But like, yeah, that's what I would say. So girls are after status, guys are after looks. It's an exchange. I don't even know if girls are a lot. All right, here's the thing. There's a lot of nuance here. Generally speaking, yes, you're right. Girls are after status, guys are after looks. That's dealing with the average dude and the average girl. But if you're here, you don't fall into that category of average. So what we're looking for is something a little more elevated. At least that's what I've been looking for. And so, like, you don't really mess around with the base. Obviously, you're going to mess around with the basic girls because, like, you can have some fun. Not going to lie. I've been there. We've all been there. But at some point, yeah, once you get enough of it and you're like, okay, yeah, different girl every few weeks, or like dating multiple at the same time, you realize it sucks a lot of time out of your life. Not gonna lie. I remember, like, I'm not gonna lie, I had fun, but it gets old pretty fast too. And then after that, you're like, all right, man, maybe you want something a little more steady, something that's more deeper, right? And so this is the part I think the red pill guys don't really explain more, and how relationships can compound too. I'm not saying she's not going to cheat on you or anything. Like, that depends on her character and the type of girls you're screening for. But there are categories of girls that I know, and this is actually a common saying in the red pill space. It's like, what do they call it? Not all girls are like that. Not all girls are like that, or all girls are like that. Something like that. But basically, like, all women are like that. At least it's useful. It's a useful heuristic to treat all girls the same. But then there are exceptions. And maybe you want to start something a little deeper with a girl, but you still got to maintain a party. There's a lot of nuance here. But what I'm saying is, like, you're probably not average dudes. So you're probably looking for women who aren't average women, which means, yes, you can find girls who aren't necessarily all about the status. Status doesn't necessarily mean rich. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I think I've noticed the thing that educated black girls really like about me is I have a brain. They're attracted to my brain first, and then they're attracted to my personality. I think that's what happens with me. And so it's like, you got to find your thing. That's what I'm noticing. I did a radio show years ago for nothing. LOL. What does that mean? Bro gonna watch Scent Fence instead of Bill Gates. I don't know what that means either. Well, a little context. I'm 19. If that changes anything, I go to community college, so very little interaction with people my age. There aren't a bunch of 19-year-olds at a community college. I know there's a lot of older people for sure, but fair enough. I mean, I remember going to a community college when I was 16. I was taking some college classes in high school. And yeah, definitely a lot of older people, so I can see what you're saying. Would you work with Johnny Sins for 10 million? I think that's a corn guy. No. I can't be paid enough to do anything. I can't be bought. But I know a lot of people would accept that. A lot of people, a surprising number of dudes would be like, "What do you mean work with?" That's also a lot of. Some people were like, "I'll build some software with the guy. I'll use his clout to like make some money." It's like I don't care about money, bro. Educated women are easier, in my opinion. Hardest girl to pick up are those that work at bars or clubs. Yeah, they're hit on constantly. I think the strategy for a girl like that is to like be aloof and distant from her. I don't know. I don't think I can't say I've honestly, have I ever interacted with a bar girl? I don't think so. I don't know that space. I don't spend any time in bars or clubs or anything. I went to a club once. I was just like, how does anybody like this? The music is hella loud. You can't have a conversation with anybody. Like, and you're supposed to just start grinding up on a stranger. And even bars aren't fun too, because everyone's just drunk. Dealing with a drunk girl is awful, man. They're just like slurring their speech and just like, ugh. I don't know, man. Like being inebriated is fun after you guys know each other well. That's fun. But before that, as a stranger, you don't know what you're going to get yourself into. You don't know what problems or issues that person has. And then you guys are going to get drunk and then meet each other and then get intimate. I don't know, but I guess it's for people. It's not for me. It's never been for me. And in fact, when I was dating, I'm engaged now, so I don't know what the game is like right now, but my first date options were always coffee. I would always invite her to coffee. Or actually, I would invite her to go get some tea at a coffee house. And so, like, it kind of sets you apart as a dude, especially if you're a black guy. You're like, hey, let's go get some tea, 7 p.m., Starbucks, meet me here. And be commanding, not in a forceful way, in a assured way. Because yeah, being whatever. And so it worked surprisingly well. And like, I could probably go back into my financial history, look at my credit card statements and see how many times I went to Starbucks. Cause that's the only times I've ever been to Starbucks is for a date. Usually it's only for a date. And usually first date, the goal is just to make sure she's not crazy. And then after that, then you can go have fun and do other things. What do you think about the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight and who would win? I don't know. I would be worried about going into the ring with a guy like Mike Tyson. He bet a guy's ear off. So I don't know if Jake understands what he signed up for. Good luck, though. I need your strategy advice. I'm vegan and I want to date a vegan girl. How the F do I locate them? Do I ask people if they know any vegan girls? How do I locate my niche? Online doesn't work. Oh, I mean, you could probably run into, all right, so where would a vegan girl spend time? Where do you spend time? Where do you get your food from? I imagine a vegan girl is probably going to shop at Whole Foods or probably Farmer's Market. Farmer's Market's probably the place to be. I think a lot of people do sliding in the DMs now. So if there's any girl who's public about her veganism, vegan restaurants, that's a great, I don't know why I didn't think of that. That's a great option, Jordy. Go to vegan restaurants. Yeah, it's just like, or even better, here's the thing. You don't necessarily have to find a vegan girl. If you're vegan, she will become vegan if she's really into you. So you can turn her into the girl you want. So just find a girl you can vibe with that. Yeah. Like, you guys notice this? Women adopt the attitudes and personalities of the people they're with. Works in reverse too, a little bit, but generally, you know, that girl who's into motorcycles or she's into gaming, it's not because she naturally got into it. It's because some dude that she was dating or was really intimate with got her into that stuff. That's how it usually starts. Vegan fest, it's summertime. Is that a thing? Vegan fests? Bro, girl gonna make him eat grass. No, but he's saying he's vegan though, Dreaming Memes. He's vegan, so he's gonna make her eat grass. No, she won't. That's not great advice. No, it's great advice. If he doesn't cook and she does, she's going to cook what she wants. No, I think women are highly adaptable. It's honestly a superpower that they have, that they can like, they're sort of like the Ditto Pokemon. Ditto, where they can just like contort and shape themselves into the guys or fit into the lifestyle. That's why like you see these girls who are like super sports fans. It's like, how'd you get into the Dallas Cowboys? And it's just like, oh, the person they were dating was a really big Dallas Cowboys fan. And it's just like, oh, okay. How'd you get into this? It's like, well, No, if I do convert someone, it won't be genuine. Also, what would I do at a vegan cafe? Flirt with coworkers, patrons. Same for the veggie festivals. Well, the veggie festivals might actually be really cool. You get to talk to people about recipes and stuff. I feel like that's an easy open, especially like at a farmer's market or something. You could easily just talk about recipes like, yo, because I know I've been to a few farmers markets in like, and they have some like, there was something I ran into that I've never run into before. And you could basically turn it into like pies or something like that or whatever. What's the word? It starts with a P, I think. But you run into all these weird fruits and vegetables because you're a vegan. You're hella restricted in what foods you can consume. And so you look for opportunities, especially in the vegetable space, of things to try. And so it's like, you can always open up with like, what is this? And recipes, bro. Bro, I'm a woman. I know women. You've been around them. If she eats meat, she's not turning vegan for a guy. It only works the other way around. Nah. Yeah, but Veggie Fest is once a year. I would have to perform maximum riz, get 10 girls Snapchats. Would this work? I think he should buy a booth at a vegan fest. Everyone comes to him easy. He's dropping money like that? Okay. That's way too much investment in in girls. Let's see. Yeah. 611 Media is the Rizzler. Yeah. Yo, this might work low key. Buying a booth? No, that is way too much. That's way too much, dude. Like there are vegan restaurants make sense. You're gonna find people there. Finding a one-time gig at a vegan fest booth would actually work though. Yeah, I that would work. Working a booth at a vegan fest. But I mean, yeah, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I guess it is a sort of lifestyle choice being vegan. So I guess it is pretty important, but you are centering your mating choices based around food, which is, I don't know how you feel about it, but I know you want to get advice, be better at it. Trust me. I'll be better at it. Trust me. Yeah, okay. I wouldn't trust women giving advice on dating, especially if the woman has never dated women before. And I know a lot of women think they can give advice on this stuff because they're like, I'm a woman. I can clearly talk about this stuff. It's like, you guys are the consumers, okay? You guys, it's like asking customers how to sell your product. What the hell are they going to tell you about how to sell? They don't know anything about this side of the business. Like, what do they know about customer acquisition costs? What do they know about marketing? What do they know about branding? All they see is the reception. So women are good for testing. They're very good for testing. So you try something, see if it works. If it doesn't work, then you try something else. They're good for A/B testing. And they are the signal that basically customers. But you as a seller, you talk to other sellers who have successfully sold. And that's other dudes. So, or dudes who've been very successful. I'm not even the person you should be even talking about this stuff. Like I told you, I have a niche, and the niche I perform with works really well for me. And I like those type of girls, so I never deviated outside of that. But the person to really listen to is someone who has broad experience with all types of women and have gotten them successfully. That's the person you should be listening to. And I think there's some people on YouTube for that. I know. Let's see. Yeah, but the issue is the only way I could meet vegans at the vegan restaurant is if I hang there. Like it's the smoke shop, LOL. At least without getting a job at one, which I won't do. Volunteer to take tickets, clean up, etc. Bro, gonna have skibbity riz. I don't know what that means, but okay. Watch Teaching Men Fashion. He helps how to be attractive. Here's the thing. Like that is the female strategy of mating is display. But that could definitely work for sure. You're going to attract a certain type of girl that way though. But if that matters to you or not, I feel like the type of girl who's like more vegan would be the hippie type of girl. So I don't know if like going the looks maxing route would be ideal for that, but I don't know. It's worth trying. Taking relationship advice from a man who tells you not to take advice from a woman. Interesting flex. Yeah. Like for instance, why would you take advice from women? How many women have you dated? Like, that's the thing. Like it's so obvious. Why would you take advice from women on how to date women who've never dated women before? It's like, it's all theory for women. And that's why I'm saying, like, they're good testing platforms to see what works and what doesn't. But in the end, they don't know how flaky women are. They don't know. They've never actually attempted to go out with women, enough women to know how flaky and late women can be for a date. In fact, I've noticed this about myself. The only women I've ever been in relationships with are women who actually showed up early for the date, because that is very rare, very rare. And then also women are very flaky, which is why you have to confirm the date. Just because you say you're going to be somewhere and you guys text doesn't mean you're, as far as she's concerned, she doesn't understand that that means that your word is your bond. No. You have to confirm literally the day of, probably an hour or two before the date, that the date's going to still happen. Otherwise, to them, it doesn't really happen. And so it's like all these things you got to learn through practice, and you make all these mistakes. Or you can listen to guys who've gone through this, and so you can like skip those mistakes. But it's like, it is what it is. I need TV woman. I need her bad. What does that mean, TV woman? So it's just like, it's like I can't give any advice on how to date a dude because I've never dated a dude, nor do I plan to. So it's like the humility that should come with like not having ever experienced it before should, I don't know, it just seems so. Y'all have fun? Okay. Eesh, my bad. It's just like, I don't know. So crazy. But yeah. Let me know how this blood ain't gay. Yeah. He's asking for advice on meeting women, bro. I'm giving my experiences dating women. That's what he's looking for, not meeting, dating. And specifically, the type of vegan is interesting. I wonder if there are vegan shops. As a woman, I can tell you where to meet them. Duh. Okay. Yeah. I think your idea about like where to meet vegan women, that's decent advice. But as far as dating women, no. Going to every vegan festival and convention and rizzing up all the girls there, is this the best strategy? Nah, dude. I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, you got to go to a convention. I think the best places to really, it's something repeatable would be nice. You can also just put it on your dating profile. Like, hey, I'm vegan, looking for another vegan to make recipes with. Be funnier, though. You have to be funnier. He literally said, how do I locate them? Yeah. He, the Rizzler? Okay. What's your name, sir? My name is Ayman. My name is Ayman. Oh, you have nightmares in paradise? Okay. Nightmares. Have you guys seen this stuff about the spider? I just noticed your profile picture is a picture of Miles Morales, Spider-Man. And I've been seeing a lot of these TikToks of like the Spider-Man NPC guy freaking out. He's a man in the streets, but a freak in the sheets. Okay. Bro, dating profiles at 19 is 100% hookups. I'm not going to find some smart, normal-looking vegan girl without psychological issues. Yeah, fair enough, dude. Without psychological issues. I don't know. Yeah, he's a man in the streets, but freaking, yeah, okay. Psychological issues. Yeah, I guess that's what, this is where like my brother told me like now people are using Instagram as a dating app. So maybe that's a way to do it. Slide in the DMs, look for recipes online. I don't know. This is the thing about Instagram. It doesn't give you location information. So you might end up sliding into the DM of someone who's across the country. It doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like there should be location information involved in there. But yeah. I don't know. Vegan restaurants, vegan festivals, vegan communities, maybe a Facebook group or something. I don't know, dude. Like, vegan is definitely a niche thing. Yeah. A cooking class for vegans. A cooking class would be great. One, you get to learn a recipe. And then two, you get to meet people. I wonder what the age group, because I don't know if you're 19, so it's going to be hard to, At the community college, is there a cooking course or something? You can meet someone there too. I don't know. Just put yourself out there, meet people. That's all I could say. You'd be surprised who you might run into. Be open to just meeting people generally, and maybe it'll just fall in your lap somehow. Bro, gonna find an 18-year-old woman and wait till she starts coughing to get inheriting. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess that's one strategy to win at life. Just partner with the right person, and that could work. Yeah, I don't know. The whole dating thing. I mean, I've been out the game for a while now, so I don't know if I can give any. I don't know what the landscape looks like right now. I did post a video on TikTok about what my dating profile looked like on online dating, and it worked for me, man. It worked for me. I guess maybe getting a few vegan male friends would be a great start to expanding my vegan social circle. Right now, the only vegans I know in person are my mom and my sister. LOL. Yeah, that's also one way to do it. Vegan. What is it about veganism that you really enjoy? Because like we invited a vegan on the podcast once, and we were talking about how like for whatever reason, non-vegans. There are some non-vegans who are combative towards vegans for whatever reason. Even though vegans aren't necessarily pushing everyone else to adopt their sort of consumption style. But it is what it is. It's weird. Women do OnlyFans and have AIDS now, so I don't trust even vegans. What? What do you mean have AIDS? Yeah, I mean, not a lot. Here's the thing. Yeah, you see it. You see a lot of women doing OnlyFans, but as a percentage, it's probably less than 10%. It's probably less than 10%. I don't know, like what percentage of what, it's just all the stuff you'll see on social media is going to be all the extremes. And so just keep that in mind when you see this stuff. Like all you get to see are the extremes. Like what percentage of women with OnlyFans? OnlyFans gender statistics, 70% of OnlyFans content creators are women. Oof. About 29% of the OnlyFans creators are men. Approximately 1% of OnlyFans creators identify as non-binary. No, what's the demographic? No, what I'm looking for is what percentage of girls. There are over 1 million content creators on OnlyFans, but allegedly OnlyFans does not release official numbers, so figures are rough estimates. I would wager the platform actually estimates higher than it actually is. So that means very few people are actually creators, and you're unlikely to know if a girl who makes content from a statistical standpoint. The actual percentage of the entire population is 0.013. But some creators are men and individuals who don't identify with one of the biological sexes. So if we assume that 800,000 creators are women and apply that to 3.9 billion women, that's 0.021% of women. So yeah, it's like, but I don't know if you would use the entire population. Let's use the US population. I think US population is 333 million. Okay. And half of them per number of adults in US. Let's do the number of adults. 260 million are age 18 and over. And if we do half of that, which is 130 million, 30, and we take the, let's say 1 million creators, times 100, we're talking about 0.76%. No, not even close, not even over 1% of women, dude. Just based on the math. It doesn't, they're not. I love being vegan because I'm aware that I'm minimizing animal cruelty as much as I can and live without guilt. I would hate to see my dog suffer as much as any cattle. That's a fair position. It is interesting when people separate the two, where they're like super sympathetic to animals that we consider pets, but when it's animals we consider food, we're brutal to them. At least you're consistent. That's the thing. Like people, I'm not saying like dogs got to be brutalized or anything like that. I'm just saying like when people are like, oh my God, it's so cute, it's a cat or whatever, it's just like, yeah, I see that. But if it's a cow, it's delicious. It doesn't, I don't know. Animals are animals. I don't feel one type of way or the other. I do. Surprisingly, I'm not vegan, but I don't actually eat meat that often. Pause. I actually don't. I do enjoy turkey sandwiches a lot, though. But as far as like grilling stuff and whatever, I'm not that type of guy. Weirdly enough, I think I could easily be vegetarian, not vegan though. So vegan means you don't consume any like cheese or like eggs or anything like that, right? So that is definitely very restrictive for sure. But I can respect the position. You're consistent for sure. But I wouldn't be worried about OnlyFans. Yeah, it's like, but it would be shocking, not gonna lie, if you're like, you find out the girl you're dating gets paid to undress herself, just like, it's like, oh, you shouldn't judge. Not judging, but it's not for me. you know, so that's what I'm thinking. I personally believe that without any social normalization or indoctrination, if the average person could think for themselves, very, very few Westerners would ever eat meat and dairy. Fair enough. I think so too. It is surprising how people can like literally, they can excuse a lot of things because it's convention. And that's the crazy part about a lot of this. It's just like, it's literally just convention, the way people have always been. It really just comes down to that. And it's just like, you realize people don't really have a lot of depth to them, or they don't reassess, or they don't really critically think about the things that they believe and why things are the way they are, or question why things are the way they are. And so they just go along because that's just how things are done. So you do make a very good point. It's a shame, but it's also kind of yeah, it is. It's a tough position. It's a tough position. And I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm someone who like questions everything. Now I'm not vegan. This gets straight. I'm not vegan. I'm not even close to vegan. It's not something I ever considered. But I do question a lot of things. Like I'm, like, I don't know if my fiance appreciates it, because it's like everything deserves to be questioned, and it can be annoying to be around. I can imagine. Which country are you from? I'm from the U.S., bro. Xerxia sleeping bag. I'm from the U.S., California specifically. I live in Texas now, though. Yep, what's normal is not necessarily morally right. Usually isn't. Two things that are widely normalized for absolute no reason: animal products and Apple products. Yeah. Well, could you explain the Apple products thing? Is it because of the labor that they use overseas? I can see that. I'm 15 years old in high school, and I don't really focus on women, but I'm focused on trying to be a millionaire. And most of my friends call me gay and insult me because I don't focus on women and I'm weak. Dude, that's interesting. I remember when I was a teenager, like I saw how thirsty all my male peers were, all my male friends and everything, and they would chase after girls, but in a simpy way too, which is the thing that like cringed. I found it the most cringe, bro, and just like all the guys get stupid as soon as girls get in the room. I'm just like, what the hell's wrong with you guys? And yeah, I was like a academic guy, so I was never money motivated, but for me, it was like my studies were the most important thing. But I see where you're coming from, bro. It's a tough position to be because like you look at these people like they're crazy and they think you're crazy and they don't get it. But then later on, I think it'll pay off. But yeah, I'm Chinese. Oh, okay. Did you enjoy the Chinese Grand Prix? Was it Chinese? Was it? I don't know where the F1 races was specifically in China, but I know it was in China. Shanghai? I don't know. 90% of Westerners constantly and religiously buy iPhones for absolutely no reason, without question. They all say it's better and cannot name a single measurable metric or fact. Weird as F. Oh, like I used to think that too. I actually own a lot of Apple products now. I used to be like an Android, like, oh, this stuff is overpriced. If you're into content or you make media, Apple products are superior. AirDrop alone makes it worth it, because constantly, like when I post stuff on social media, honestly, the easiest and most efficient, actually the most efficient way, not the most efficient, the only way to upload, especially short pieces of content, and get it precise where all the little things matter, is through a phone. And yeah, you can do that with a Android and a Chromebook or whatever, but it's not as seamless as AirDrop, man. AirDrop alone makes it worth it. I know, yeah, you can say the hardware and everything isn't up to par, all that stuff, right. But the small conveniences make all the difference. Like even right now, I'm streaming on a MacBook Pro. And the reason why I have a MacBook, I originally started with a Mac Mini. And I originally had a PC, but I wanted to get into video editing and making content, but I needed to upgrade my graphics card. And if you remember a few years ago, finding a graphics card was nearly impossible unless you were willing to pay 2-3 times the sticker price of the thing because of all the crypto stuff. And so I was like, you know what? I need to edit some videos, and DaVinci Resolve cannot work on this onboard graphics of this thing. So I was like, you know what? Let me upgrade to the Mac Mini. Got Final Cut Pro, which works really well with the software because it's Apple hardware. And so if you make media, you can't beat a Mac. You can't beat a Mac. Outside of that, so the way I think of MacBooks and Apple products is like they're like workstations for creatives. They're workstations. If you're not using it for that, yeah, it's definitely overpriced for sure. In real life, IRL, when someone says iOS is better than Android, ask them, what is Android? 90% do not know. It's hilarious. Zero questioning. Yeah. So Apple has its purpose. And I think a lot of people who could probably get away with like an Android and just be just as, it's also a status play, not going to lie. A lot of people, they do elevate. Apple is kind of a brand. I don't like it, but the cool thing is like everything, all my Apple equipment has been used outside of the AirPods. Obviously, I'm not going to buy used AirPods, but I don't believe in paying full price for any Apple product. The small conveniences you're mentioning are just Stockholm Syndrome, AirDrop, and any other feature Apple can make universal. They purposely do not. It's dishonest and predatory. I agree with you for sure. But like those little things, like, yeah, could they make it easy to AirDrop to an Android if they wanted to? Yeah, they don't have to, and they won't. And so if you're using a MacBook, and the thing I like about it is the software and the hardware work together. And yeah, could they make Final Cut available for PC? Sure. They're not going to though. And if you don't have a graphics card that can handle DaVinci Resolve or Premiere, it's like you're kind of screwed on this. My dad owns an Apple because he says it's popular. Yeah, at least he's honest though. That's the thing. At least he's honest. I think a lot of people, because I've witnessed people buy MacBooks who don't need MacBooks. They don't need it. And they did overpay for it. So it's like, unless you intend to use this for like media and you need Final Cut Pro or any of the other Apple suites or whatever software, or you need the conveniences of, because like there's certain things about a MacBook I don't like. I don't like that there's a limit on storage. And like there's no convenient way to add external storage. So it's just this ugly like appendage coming out of it. Windows is better? No, it's not. Windows, it's good for gaming. Outside of that, I'm not a fan of Windows. I used to be. I never was a fan of Windows. But if you need compatibility with like weird tech or peripherals, yeah, Windows does have the support. But like, man, like Windows is not what it used to be. I've been a Windows Android guy for life. Bought a M2 Max MacBook for Adobe After Effects. I do like it, but Mac OS is funky and weird for many reasons. That is true. It is weird and funky. It's hard to transition for sure. There's certain things in Windows that you're like, why can't you do something? And a lot of it is just like coming down to uniqueness and different for the sake of different. But I do like the structure of like Mac apps. If you've done any development, they are standalone like applications. So literally it is like a sort of drag and drop experience, as close as you can get to that. There are like these sort of solid, I've done a little bit of development. So MacBooks are also good for like developers if you want that terminal, which I use all the time. I know you can do it in Windows too, but it's nice when you can just like write a bash script and to automate some stuff on your PC. So it's like, it depends on the application is what I would say. I don't think a MacBook makes sense for like 90% of people who have them. Honestly, I think 90% of people would be more than fine with a Chromebook, which I also have. A Chromebook is super capable, super capable. Like Windows is too much, I think, for most people. Most people are just browsing on the internet, checking Facebook, YouTube, or like Google Docs or whatever. You don't need a Windows or a Mac. A Chromebook is fine, and the battery life on those are insane. It'll last forever. Most college students could probably get away with that. Like, that's what I would say. Hey, Kirk, what's good? What's good, bro? We're having this debate about Mac versus PC. What's your position here? I got a guy on TikTok who could give some useful input here. For example, I can set my wallpaper to any custom image. I can also set video wallpaper to the 10 provided by Apple. Can I upload my own vid? No, because of course I can't. That's an interesting, I guess. That's a fair point. I don't know. I don't know of many Windows PCs that can support. Here's the cool thing. All right, so we talked about how the small conveniences. If you make content and you want to record like high quality video and you don't have a nice camera, you can use your iPhone and it's all wirelessly transmitted. That's what are they, continuity camera? That is insane, bro. That even works, and it works really well. And in fact, I even plug in my DSLR, or not my full frame camera directly into QuickTime, and I record in QuickTime. QuickTime's, yeah, it's like all these little like details. You kind of have to experience it, and it has to be for a very specific application. Otherwise, yeah, it's overpriced. The reason I did a complete 360 and bought a MacBook is because their performance is insane with very little function loss. Battery size, display, speakers are very good. Very impressed. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the Apple Silicon is impressive. It's absolutely impressive. And so like you can say all the stuff about like Windows compatibility and stuff, but you can't really beat their computers. iPhone though, I can see where you're coming from on the iPhone. Speaking about the M2, M3 chips, not for the shitty Airs. Yeah, fair enough. My teaches is a Swiftie, and he start playing that carp. I made my ears bleed. I have no idea what that means, bro. My teacher is a Swiftie, and he started playing that crap, and it made my ears bleed. Got you. Okay. I thought you were going to talk about Swift, the programming language Apple developed. Never mind. I don't know. It's way easier for me to do network and OS on Windows. So Windows. I like Linux more. You're a Linux dude. Here's the thing. I've messed around with Linux a few times in my life. It's great in theory. It's awful in practice because it's like to get anything that isn't conventional to work is just a lot of Googling, a lot of like trying to figure out settings, and like maybe you have to edit some like OS files or something just to make something work. And it's just like, man. Although most of the internet runs on Linux though, so it has that going for it. So as far as networking, like it's definitely not for the casual person for sure. Not. That's why if you ever attend a lecture, a CS lecture, and the guy's running Ubuntu or like some other Linux distro, you're like, all right, this guy's really about his stuff. I feel like you could easily tell. The next tier is like, the next lower tier is like they're running a Mac. I don't know. When they start opening things up straight from the terminal and they don't even use the mouse or anything, it's like, okay, they're about their stuff for sure. I've seen that a few times in lectures, and I'm like, the guy didn't touch his mouse once. The guy's just doing everything. He opens files through the terminal, and I'm just like, oh, okay, he's different. I don't know if you noticed this pattern, but it's like that's how you can tell how about their business they are, at least in the CS world. I feel like. And funny enough, I have an S24 Ultra, and that phone is more impressive than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Even my Apple friends like it. Yeah, my sister is a Android fan for that reason. She likes everything about Android better, and and it's funny because like my younger brother tries to convince her. It's like, you should be on iPhone. You should be on iPhone. We can do messages. Blah blah blah. She's holding out, and I can respect her for that. Is this the best Riz line? You are North Korea because I can't escape from you? No, I don't. That's not good Riz. You're elevating her. You're elevating her. You gotta good Riz is like, what do they call it? Negging. it's it's like you give her a compliment that's also sort of like positions you as higher than her. And so like, I don't know if I could run through what my dating profile actually looked like, and I have jokes on there. It's like, yeah. Debian, is that how you say it? Debian and Raspberry OS. I've tried using Raspberry OS. Like, for whatever reason, their Bluetooth drivers don't work, and it's just I spent so much time trying to get it work. Yeah, SSH is faster, but you really need to know command line. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that should just be a test for all CS majors. Like, here's a set of tasks you have to do, and you should be able to do it through the command line or tunnel through SSH or something to access a remote computer or something. I feel like that's the basics. Like, I'm sure you have some classmates, some CS classmates who are like, who do not belong as CS majors. Like, you don't even know how to do anything with your computer. You don't spend any of your free time messing around with computers. That's the thing. That's how you know who are, if you guys are curious, if you guys want to know which of your classmates are really about it and which aren't, look at the ones who spend their free time working on this stuff. Like in school, when I was in college, I spent my free time building airplanes, RC airplanes, and working with carbon fiber and fiberglass to build structures and build basically RC vehicles for fun. For fun. That's what I did. And you, Kirk, you work on software stuff, side projects all the time on your own. You're about it. And you realize classmates who aren't really spending their free time doing this stuff, they're not really about it. And so it's like there's definitely that difference. People who vape won't see 30 candles. I don't know what that means. iPhone is honestly lacking behind on functional controls. iPhone's control and gestures feel pretty restrictive and complicated, like top, left, back button. Yeah. I mean, there's all these like issues with iPhone. Not gonna lie. It's not, there's certain things. But yo, I'm supposed to be teaching Python on the side at Stanford this summer. Oh, nice. What are you gonna teach? Well, how are you gonna teach the course? Yeah, some people really aren't about it. Yeah. It's just like, why are you here? It's like some people really are about it. What do you plan on doing? Are you going to have like a final project, or is it just the basics of Python? Is it going to be streaming? Is it going to be on like a Stanford online course or something? I'd watch it. It'd be cool to learn Python. Oh, are you going to use it in the context of like machine learning and stuff? Or computer vision? That'd be interesting too. I messed around with a little bit of computer vision in college, where I found a MATLAB library that helped me detect colors and shapes. It's supposed to be like a 1 week for a section. Okay. That's cool. iPhone removed the headphone jack and the charger from the box. Yeah, that is the headphone jack. Yeah, I see that one. The headphone jack was cool. It's very nice. Apple is bipolar. They make the best membrane keyboards, worst mice, best laptops, worst desktops. That's a great way to describe Apple. That is a great way to describe Apple. They make, yeah, it really is. Like, I think for the niches, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The Mac Mini was actually pretty, I know it's not technical. Is it? That is a desktop, technically. It worked pretty well for me, man. It's a small, tiny box that fit under. I used a TV as my monitor, a 4K TV. By the way, if you want to get deep money for your value, if you want to get the most value for your screen real estate, and you can manage to find a TV with good visual angles where it doesn't get distorted that much, going with a 43-inch 4K TV is the same as having 4 21-inch standard computer monitors without bezels. It works really well. And the resolution works out. The basically the pixels per inch is equivalent. So you can use that, and then you get this huge display. And that's what I ended up using with the Mac Mini. And just put the Mac Mini underneath it. It actually is a pretty sweet setup, not gonna lie. There's like 2 professors that provide all the materials, and the section leaders pull it together. There's going to be a final project. Okay. It hasn't been revealed yet what it will be though. Yeah. Make it. Pick something very interesting. Especially if you're teaching to CS majors, then you can choose something very interesting if you have the option. Coca-Cola versus Pepsi, Coca-Cola, for sure. I don't even like Diet Coke is where it's at. That's the thing. I'm not going to promote it, but if I need a little pick me up, I'm going to go for the caffeine, the little microdose of caffeine in a Diet Coke. And I prefer Diet Coke over Coke Zero. And I know it doesn't taste as good, but I'm used to the flavor. I compare them heavily to BMW. If they weren't anti-consumer and don't care solely on their highest paying customers, they would make amazing, well-loved consumer products. Yeah. And that is the thing about Apple. They know their space and they're sticking with it. And they don't care to make their stuff more accessible. I think one time they tried with the whole color series iPhones with like the SE or something like that. But no. That's the thing. Like even when I'm designing these products, this wallet here, I want it to be consumer accessible to the average person, not like, and here's the thing, I understand the value of branding, positioning. It makes the margins work way better. You can spend more on ads and marketing, and it just makes business a lot easier when you can command a higher price for your stuff, especially when your stuff doesn't necessarily have to be as good as a comparable thing, like you're mentioning the Samsung or the other Android phones. But at the same time, there's something about it that doesn't feel right, about just only serving the people who have wealth and means, or the people at the top of the social hierarchy. Bloodstream for 2 hours, but still standing. Actually approaching 3 hours. I've been doing this for a while, man. And you guys have been helping, especially with the comments and stuff. It's a lot harder to do this streaming when there are no comments. Not going to lie. It is much harder. But I can riff off of anything. I think that's the cool thing about, like, I wouldn't say I have super deep expertise in anything, but I have enough breadth that I could talk about anything. And so like, we can talk about Python and some of the cool things you could do with that. We could talk about iPhones, and we could talk about dating and girls. We could talk about e-commerce and business. We could talk about stock trading. We could talk about things going on in the world too. And I feel fairly comfortable adapting, and you guys seem pretty knowledgeable about a bunch of stuff too. But yeah, it's 2 hours, but still standing exactly. Almost 3 hours. But both BMW and Apple do make incredible products in their markets, just not all. Both the M4 Comp and Vision Pros are mind-blowing products. It's what most people overlook. Yeah, here's the thing. I think the thing people don't understand about BMWs in German engineering specifically is that they care about the engineering. German products are well engineered, but they're also extreme in a lot of the design. And so there isn't really much tolerance they don't have wide operating envelopes when it comes to like a lot of the details of it. And so if it's out of range or out of spec, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. This is why like people, when they talk about BMWs and the cars don't last as long, it's like, are you regularly maintaining it as the engineers described in the owner's manual? Like, are you like, there's a reason why they tell you they do thorough testing. They are good German engineers are very good engineers. They design. Their engineering is good. They just don't design for humans, for people who are very imprecise, who are not going to follow regular maintenance schedules, who are going to treat the stuff that they own poorly. This is where I think Toyota shines. They understand how people actually are. And so they design their stuff with resilience in mind. Yeah, it's not as precise or as tight or as extreme as German engineering, but it's robust. And that's why people love the cars, because they understand people. And so it's a different approach, and like, it is what it is. Or more specifically, BMW makes incredibly good and reliable, long-lasting motorcycles. They're the Toyotas of bikes. They make great products. I can imagine that. Denise by Indila. I don't know what that means. I've never ridden a BMW motorcycle, but I've talked to a few people who've owned BMW motorcycles. They really enjoy it. And Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. But yeah, I'm at 13% on my phone. So the M4, what's this M4 comp? M4 comp coupe. Is that what you guys? The M4 coupe, Series 4, BMW. What's it? Oh, okay. I don't know. There's this BMW Z. No, I'm a fan of the BMW Z4 Coupe. That it's only sold in Europe, unfortunately, or like overseas. It's not sold here. They have the which one? They have the what do they call it? They have the convertible here in the U.S. I'm not a fan of that design, but the BMW Z4 Coupe that's sold overseas, that is classic design. I don't. The fastbacks always get me, man. With the long hood, it reminds me of the 240Z. It reminds me of a 240Z. So I might one day have to get one of those imported to the U.S. Japan in 1945, when they saw the sun was a little too bright. Oh, come on, bro. BMW used to make reliable, long-lasting cars up until the late 90s. So did all German brands. They were insanely popular in Europe for middle class. I guess they didn't like that. LMAO. I don't know. That's the thing. I wonder if like you go in Europe, you'll probably see a lot of BMWs being driven around. I think BMWs being like a premium class of car in the US is largely due to import fees. Cause like, I don't know. One of my professors drives one. Yeah. I don't know. That M4, that Z4 BMW coupe is really, I miss old cars, man. Older designs. And this is like a modern design, but man, it's just so clean. It's so clean. Especially if you can get it as a manual do they come? I don't know if it came, I think it came with paddle shifters though. Oh no, it does. Wait, is it available for the first time ever? There, the BMW Z4 is available with 6-speed manual transmission. Oh no, this is the newer one. Yeah, whatever. Like the Supra was a collaboration between Toyota and BMW. So you can see a lot of their design in that. So maybe the Supra. I don't know. Or even no. I think it was Subaru and Toyota that made the FRS. Yeah. I don't know. I'm a fan of Toyota's manufacturing practices. It's kind of, yes, much more common. Parts and repairs are so much cheaper. Police cruisers use BMW. Ooh, interesting. I just searched up where there are the hot women at, if anyone wants to know. Okay. In Brazil or Brazil. Yeah, you meant Brazil. Got it. So you have a taste for like caramel women, clearly. Yeah, the MK5 Supra has a BMW engine. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the Supra. I think there was some issues with like the collaboration. Let's see, Toyota BMW Supra issues. BMW North America issued recalls on August 22nd for just over 50,000 cars, 13,000 of which were Toyota Supras built between February 2019 and June 2021. The problem, according to the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, I think, officially campaign, engine management software could cause the loss of braking assist at startup. Reliability. Supra drawbacks. Yeah, man. Actually shares a lot of parts with the Z4. I think, yeah, it does. So Supra is more BMW than Toyota. Yeah, engineered mainly by BMW and inspected by Toyota. I'm actually gonna buy one soon. Best BMW ever made. Yeah, maybe that's the game. You get the engineering of BMW with the reliability and quality control of Toyota. I don't think you could beat it. You get the performance of BMW and the joy and ease of use of a Toyota. I think that's the game. If you can find those, you know what I really miss? I really miss Scions. I just like the design of Scions, and it's such a shame that Toyota ended that. But I think those designs were just like ahead of their time, and it's definitely more funky for sure. The Supra is literally the Z4 shell is different, literally the same chassis and B58. Yeah. I think it's messed up. My school pays students if they snitch. For real? Is that true? That's crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I miss Scion. I had a '05 Scion TC, and it came. Here's a funny thing. Like, they were trying to go for a youthful audience. And so they added a lot of things that would normally be aftermarket, like a short throw shifter, and which normally you would have to like upgrade yourself, but it came standard. That's one thing I really miss. But even the idea of like, it's a coupe, but it's also a hatchback. So it's hella functional. Really miss that too. And a design I really like, if I'm going to go the crossover direction, is what do they call it now? What's the Toyota? Let's see, what was it? I forget what it's called. Not the Corolla Cross. Let's see. What's the Scion version? I think it originally started off as a Scion design that they ended up converting to the Toyota brand. Dang, what's the name of it? Whatever, it doesn't matter. What young audience going to have the money? Yeah, I don't know. The GR Supra looks insane though. Absolutely love the appearance. Let me look that up. It'd be cool if I can show these too. GR Supra. White colorway looks awesome. I think people underestimate the white colorway for a car. Absolutely love the appearance. It looks twice as expensive. Normal people think you drive a supercar. Yeah. Look up Dr. Nowhere. Okay. Actually, there were a few used Roadsters for sale. It would be a nice city car, yeah. The Roadster is the convertible one, right? The Z4 Roadster. Which, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it drives well. I'm not a fan of convertibles. Roadster is the hardtop convertible. Oh, no, I've seen those too. Yeah, it messes up the body line when it's that hardtop one. I like the coupe. If you look up the coupe, it's cleaner, bro. It reminds me of the Nissan 240Z. It's like a modern 240Z styling. I like with the long nose, the fastback coupe. Man, a tiny car, but I think the closest thing to it is like a Miata right now. I've driven one of the newer Miatas before. And if you just want, I was thinking like all these BMWs and Supras and all that, that's cool. But I like the idea of finding like these salvage cars at car auctions and then just rebuilding them, but in new and interesting ways. So like one of these ideas is like an off-roading coupe. So you put fat tires on a coupe. So this is where I think it would be cool to like take a Miata. People have done this. Take a Miata, put a light bar on it, put a winch on it, put like a skirt underneath it to protect it when it's going off-roading, put some fat tires on there too. And you might have to put some like some body panels on there to expand the footprint of the car to cover the wheel wells of the giant wheels. I think it'd be pretty cool. And then you turn it into an off-roading vehicle. A coupe, that's an off-roading vehicle. And then probably put some deeper suspension in there too. It'd be cool just to build interesting and unique cars like that, just for fun. And maybe it would be a part of the YouTube channel, Table Moments. And then maybe even give them away. That'd be really cool. Hey, Arira, how's it going? I'm at 9% right now on my phone, so I'm about to end. Coming up on 3 hours right now streaming. I'll look up Dr. Nowhere real quick. Is that you? My name is, I'm 17 years old and I make perceivable content sometimes. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Miatas are dope. Yeah, they are dope. Like a tiny car, man. It's cool. Here's the thing. Tiny cars are not safe for the road, especially when you're around a bunch of heavy vehicles, but man, it would be dope to get into racing. I gotta go though. Got a test tomorrow. Peace. Yeah. All right. Good luck on your test, man. And yeah, good luck on the figuring out what Python or what to teach for the Python course. I think I'm gonna end it on TikTok too. It's nice to see you here. Yeah. I'm probably gonna have to go some live sometime later this week. We can get you back on and we can debate stuff. I recently invited a Second Amendment guy on the podcast. So, and oh yeah, you've changed your position on this stuff too. I don't know if you've changed, but you're sort of supportive of it. So it'd be cool that. I wonder if I could talk about it on TikTok, but it'd be cool to bring you on and we could talk about it maybe later this week. I think, was it Tuesdays? I was supposed to go on. I was supposed to go live on Thursday, but I had something I had to be part of. But maybe I'll make up for it on Tuesday. I don't know, but I'll DM you. Yeah, you got to be careful. We're gonna have to come up with code words and stuff so TikTok doesn't ban the account or the stream. So we'll see. But good night, everyone on TikTok. Enjoy the rest of your night. Good night, Arira. Yeah, bye to everyone on TikTok. Bye bye. Bye bye. And now, cool. Ended it on TikTok. When you're the first on to fall asleep at a sleepover. Okay, yeah. I'm going to end here on YouTube too. I appreciate you guys coming on. Really makes it a lot easier to do the live streaming when you guys are engaging with the content. And yeah, I do this every Sunday, usually around 7 p.m.-ish. It varies. If you're on, you're on. If you're not, that's fine too. But it's nice having a conversation with you guys. Six Lav Media and Dreaming Memes. It's nice to have you guys here. Really appreciate it. Thank you for being a part of this stream. And have a great rest of your week. And you might catch me live. I don't know. I reserved Sundays for YouTube and Twitch and TikTok. I do that, I think, a little more often, maybe like twice a week, but we'll see. Fortnite Pro. Okay. I don't know anything about Fortnite, but that's cool. All right, everyone. Have a good night. Have a good rest of your week. Signing out. Bye. 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 Ending stream.